Got me on the mic, now let's spill the tea. Talking courtside dreams from history. Legends on the blacktop now and then. From Wilt to Steph, we hit it again. Bumping the chimes in, let's go deep. Young bloods rising, can't skip a beat. Puppy prospects with fire in their eyes. Draft night suckers and hoop dream highs. Wire to wire, bring the heat. Broadcast magic can't be beat. Do better, we're blow better. We're hoop heads, trendsetters.
What's poppin', y'all? It is your boy Guardy3, and welcome back to the N1 Podcast. And of course, we are joined by the greatest co-host of all time, ladies and gentlemen. It is Mo Better. How you doing, Mo?
I'm doing great on a Thursday night, a big hoops Thursday night. Always excited to chop it up with you and everybody out there that's checking us out. So just glad to be here. Let's get into it.
Alrighty, so for anybody just joining in a little confused, we're impatient. We didn't want to wait all the way till Lakers and Magic to start, so we are going to start by doing Timberwolves, Raptors, and then we will be getting into Lakers and Magic. So, but before we get everything started, we all know how we start every week. Ladies and gentlemen, we always like to shout out underrated players. It could be in the current day, it could be in the past. So, Mo, why don't we start off with you? Do you have any underrated players this week?
You know what? This guy is definitely somebody that you would forget how good a basketball player he was because he kind of got lost in the shuffle over the past. Not to mention, his career was shortened because of back problems. The guy I'm talking about is Brad Daugherty of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Brad Daugherty could face you up. He could post you, could shoot with either hand, had a jump shot from 12 to 15 feet out. Basically, for his career, you could book him for just under 20 and 10, five-time All-Star, great passer, just a terrific all-around big man that when we talk about great big men, we never mention Brad Daugherty, and I think it's a crime because Brad Daugherty was a terrific basketball player in every aspect from the offensive side of the basketball floor. So, yeah, Brad Daugherty of the Cleveland Cavaliers, that's my guy as the underrated player of the week because I think he's one of those very talented, very productive players that get lost in time.
You know what? That is fair enough. I think that's a great pick, honestly. I love it. For my underrated player this week, I'm going to stick a little local for this one. I'm going to go to my Bucks. Obviously, we started off really skittish lately, but we've turned it around. We're 4-1 in our last 5 games. Arguably should be 5-0 after that controversial call against Charlotte. That's all right, but a big reason we've turned it around, AJ Green. AJ Green has been absolutely money for us from behind the arc. And not to mention, he's been locked down on defense. He's been absolutely fantastic so far to start the year. Him and shout out Taurean Prince. Those two are both around 50% from 3 to start the year. So, but my underrated player this week has definitely been AJ Green.
I think that's a great call. AJ Green's energy, his shooting ability, not to mention what no one really talks about, but if you've been watching over the last few games, he's provided some energy on the defensive side of the floor as well. I love that he's embracing that challenge. He's been a big difference maker for the Bucks. What they need desperately, some young, energetic players. He's providing that. Not to mention his range opens up the floor for the rest of his teammates. So, yeah, AJ Green is a great pick.
You say the next challenge for us is trying to figure out how to get the offense going now with Andre Jackson. He's been elite for us defensively, but it's been a chore trying to figure him out how to use him offensively at times.
And that's the hardest part with young guys that are still trying to find their lane in the NBA. Even though he seems to have all the natural instincts to be a great elite defender, if he's limited offensively, you know and I know teams will take advantage of that, and Giannis already gets double teamed. If they don't view AJ Green as a threat, which they don't, Giannis will get triple teamed. So they definitely have to find different ways to take advantage of what Jackson can do, because I do think he has the potential to be one of the better wing defenders in all the NBA, but he's got to keep teams honest.
Yeah, no, they started running some empty side Andre Jackson, Giannis pick and rolls, and those look great. But it's always when they just try to stuff him in the corner that's when it gets messy because then they just play off him and let him shoot.
So he gets the Russell Westbrook treatment.
Yeah, and he's not. I mean, he hasn't been that terrible of a shooter, but he's not up to respectable levels yet. So.
And that's all it's really about. Look, if he only needs to get up to at least beat a league minimum, shoot 35, 36% from three to keep teams honest, and he'll stay on the floor even more.
Oh, absolutely. Dante just knocked down a nice three. That's good for them. He's been struggling so far to start the year.
He has. This has actually been a very good game so far. And maybe for Toronto, a lot of it has to do with Scotty Barnes is back. I think this is his first game back. And so they're going to be better overall just because he's on the floor. Not to mention RJ Barrett has played very well over the last few games as he drives to the basket.
Say it. Julius Randle. I'll give him credit. Julius Randle has given them even more rim pressure. The amount of rim pressure that this Timberwolves team can put on any opponent on any given night is pretty wild. You got Ant able to drive to the basket. Now Randle, obviously Gobert's still a threat to roll and finish at the rim. It's pretty crazy how just destructive around the rim this Timberwolves team can be.
Nah, look, I think that was the thing that we talked about that Julius Randle would add. He gives them another shot creator. He gives them another attacker going towards the basket, getting downhill. It makes them a little bit more, I think, dangerous offensively because everything used to be all about Ant, and now you have another guy that can create shots for himself and teammates. It does make them, I think, a little bit more balanced offensively. So he's been a good fit. Somebody asked me the other day who won the trade, and I said when the trade was first made, it could work for both teams. Well, look at their records. They're very similar. So I would say it's worked for both teams. Karl-Anthony Towns is averaging 26, 12, and 3 for the Knicks, shooting 55% from the field, over 50% from three. So, look, right now today, it's what it is. It's been a win for both teams. Ultimately, the way we judge trades like this is what both teams and both players do in the postseason.
I think the most shocking part about the Knicks for me so far is just how bad their defense overall has been.
Oh, they don't play defense for some reason. I don't know what happened, but they don't play defense.
It's weird because you have Bridges, OG, and all these guys, but teams have been like, hey, Jalen Brunson and Cat, let's just put them in the pick and roll, and it's worked wonders for anybody facing them.
And let's keep it a buck. As gifted a player, offensive player as both those guys are, they're not great defenders. Now, I would say Cat is still a better defender than Brunson is because Cat still is capable of bodying up some bigs or getting weak side blocks. Brunson, he competes on defense. He's just not a good defender. He just isn't. So there's an imbalance because I thought when you had OG Anunoby along with Bridges, two of the better wing defenders, that just because you had those two, they'd be able to lock down more. Not to mention Josh Hart is in the starting lineup. That gives you three big-time wing defenders. And like you said, opposing teams, yes, they're attacking Brunson and Cat, but they're attacking those guys. Nobody's particularly playing defense very well for the Knicks.
No, that's absolutely fair. They just need better energy on that end. The Wolves should be ashamed for keeping the Raptors in this one. To be fair to the Raptors, Grady Dick has been a lot of fun for this team. We knew he could be good, but I don't think anybody saw this for, Grady. He's continuously dropping all these 20-point games. And
the question for me is, though, with Scotty Barnes back, eventually when they get quickly back and they're whole, what will Grady Dick's role be on the Raptors? Because I don't see him in the starting lineup, but I think he should be the first guy off the bench because he's a bucket getter.
Yeah, no, he definitely should be the first guy off the bench for sure. Because they're definitely not. I think either him or Emmanuel Quickly would be the best six man, and they're not about to put Quickly on the bench after they just paid him. So I think Grady just becomes their six man. Oh, Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, nice move. Yeah, I get it. The Timberwolves are supposed to be a better team, but let me keep it a buck. I told people before the season started, when the Raptors are whole, I think they could be a playoff team. I think when you have R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and Emmanuel Quickly, along with the emergence of Grady Dick, I just gave you four guys, not one, not two, but four guys that can create their own shots. The Raptors have more shot creators than the Knicks do. They have more shot creators than the Timberwolves do. So I'm not saying their shot creators are better players individually, but that does give them the opportunity to be more versatile than teams that are considered better teams. In this NBA, what is at a premium? Shot making and shot creating. Toronto has four guys that can create shots and get their own baskets. The Knicks have two. The Timberwolves have two. Most teams in the NBA, even the better teams, you got two guys. Very few teams have three or four guys that can get their own shots. So I think the Raptors are underrated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I could definitely see them making some noise in the plane.
I think, Brett, that is also why you look at teams like this particular season in the East. You look at the Hornets. You look at Detroit. They're not just, competing. They're winning games. They're being more respectable. Like last year, Detroit didn't win. I don't think they won their fifth game until like late January. Well, they're well past that now. So clearly, this is a team that has the potential to easily win between 35 and 40 games.
I completely agree with that. By the way, I gotta ask. There's a lot going on over in Philly. Leaked meetings. Nobody's happy. Paul George is hurt again. Bone bruise. What do you make about this entire situation going on in Philly?
I think that at some point, as an organization, you have to look at the highs and lows in your investments. This all started, Brett, years ago, before Daryl Morey was even the GM. The GM before him, it's no secret, he invested in tanking, right? And that was the process, right? Remember that. And to his credit, they were able to draft a Joel Embiid, a Ben Simmons. Now, they didn't hit on all their draft picks because for some reason they drafted Jahlil Okafor. They also drafted, what is the other big man's name? It escapes me.
Nerlens?
Yes. When you have Joel Embiid, and they're basically all the same age, why in God's name would you draft two other centers in a row? That made no sense. Not to mention the two centers you drafted, they didn't pan out. In Jahlil Okafor's case, I'm a little more surprised than Noel because Okafor actually has offensive talent, but you could tell he didn't have much of an engine. He had, you know what? Here's a good comparison. Jahlil Okafor has the same kind of engine that James Wiseman has.
Oof.
They're cut from the same cloth. There's a lot of talent there, but there's not a whole lot of want to.
No, that's fair, and I think you're right, and this is almost like a bigger like systematic issue because I'm gonna go on a whim also with the whole report about the leaked meeting, and obviously there's a problem with somebody leaking the meeting. They got to figure that out,
right?
But Joel Embiid, he got called out by Tyrese Maxey for being tardy, and Gene was telling me that the reason that he was questionable against the Miami Heat on Monday was because he didn't get to the building until 7:30. They didn't know if he was going to show up. So I think that's also a bigger systematic issue. Is why is Tyrese Maxey finally the one to clamp down on Joel Embiid? That's something that you have to do like when they're young. Like that's something you have to clamp down on much earlier because now you've given him almost free reign to do whatever he wants, and I think that we're starting to see that's kind of becoming problematic because it's even rubbing teammates the wrong way. It seems.
And I think that problem has been there for a long time. I don't think it's new. I think it's also emblematic of the locker room. It's emblematic of just the culture in Philly. Joel Embiid is your centerpiece. He is your franchise player. But let's agree on this. All franchise players are not the same. All franchise players don't lead you to championships and finals glories and things of that nature. Some franchise players in this league, for whatever reason, it's their lot in life, they come up short, they underachieve, they're not leaders, and they leave the fan base wanting more. I said this a year ago. Joel Embiid, if I were the Sixers, you have to not just look at the culture. That's a problem in itself, but the product on the floor. He's not going to age well. He's not aging well now. I say he's not going to age well. He's not aging well now. But more importantly, do you honestly look at Joel Embiid and go, "Yep, he's going to be the leader of our team"? Joel Embiid, if you just go based on talent, he's going to lead us to an NBA Finals. If you did it based on talent, I'd be like, I could see that happening. But if you did it based on what you know about him, his work habits, his conditioning, his leadership or lack thereof, his willing to fight through adversity, I would say there's no way in hell you're going to play in an NBA Finals with Joel Embiid as your best player. And adding a 35-year-old Paul George, that looked good not to me, but I know it looked good on NBA 2K. But in real life, your best player is a guy who plays like he's 35 or older sometimes. And then you bring in an older guy who has a history of injuries, and you kind of get and reap what you sow. Daryl Morey is one of those GMs, Brett, and you can appreciate this. He doesn't rebuild. He doesn't build franchises from the bottom up. Daryl Morey is big on star power, so he'll bring in a bigger name and then another bigger name. He's big on sticking Band-Aids on situations and going forward. He's not trying to do the hard work, which is the mistake. The hard thing to do in Philly, trade Joel Embiid. And people will go, why would you do that? He's a franchise player. But y'all not winning no title with that franchise player. But Tyrese Maxey, you might be able to build a team around him. You could build a core around him. It's a perimeter-oriented league anyway. Why not? I would move Joel Embiid. You're going to get multiple number one picks, probably a couple of players. I would make that deal would be done tonight. It would be done that soon. I wouldn't mess around with that because you never know the next time he's going to get injured. I would move Joel Embiid that quick. I would also move Paul George. I don't think Paul George is not part of your future. If Joel Embiid is not there, there's no need for Paul George to be there.
Maxey is the leader we wanted Joel to be. Maxey and McCain are going to be a great backcourt for years to come. I will say that'll be an interesting conversation. Even let's say if Embiid comes back, with a vengeance, he's pissed. He finishes out the rest of the year really strong, has another great year, like he normally does. He always has great regular seasons. Like, is there Dean's predicting the 76ers win 10 straight?
Not in real life. I mean, they could win 10 straight on 2K, but not in real life. That's not going to happen. I think McCain is what you would call it. He's definitely a steal. He's a gem. I'm not going to jump ahead and go, well, they got it. They just drafted the kid McCain, and McCain's going to be an all-star. I'm not going to go that far. What they found out is he's better than what they projected. And clearly his game translates better to the NBA than it did to college. He's better in the NBA than he was in college. So I do think he's a good find. And I kind of like the combination of him and Maxey. Now, the only problem is McCain isn't much of a passer. If McCain gets the ball 9 times out of 10, he's shooting the ball. Maxey is more of a combo guard. So you'd really be having a backcourt that's not, you don't really have playmakers. You have guys that are scorers. You do need somebody that can run an offense and get guys in their sets. So I'm not sure you could keep both of those guys on the floor an extensive period of time. I do believe, though, that McCain he's actually another reason why you should consider moving on from Embiid. Again, if Rudy Gobert, who's a very good player, can net you 4 number ones, even this current version of Joel Embiid's got to be worth at least 4. I would say 4 and maybe a couple of players, or 3 and a couple of nice players. And in this NBA, depending on the nice pieces you bring in, the Sixers might end up being more competitive overall. I just know that at some point you have to recognize the process. It's not near the beginning, it's at the end. The process has already peaked. They made it to a conference semifinal. They peaked. That was it. I don't think there's another run in terms of a serious run as far as making it to a finals in the Joel Embiid era with the Sixers.
I'd say, and when it comes to trading a superstar, you definitely want to trade them, before they start to really get too far down that hill.
Facts. And look, I'm not saying he's washed or anything like that. What I am saying is his past habits, his past injuries, it gives you a preview into what he's going to look like, Brett, as he gets older, right?
So what I'm hearing is he's a Miami Heat.
Okay, but what would that trade look like? Because I would have to assume where the Sixers want back. They want back Bam. They want back Hero, right? They want back. I mean, like what is that going to do to Miami? Because even if you pull that off, Miami's not winning anything.
Oh, absolutely not. But Miami, they're always a team that's always big game hunting.
Yeah, and I love Pat. I love Pat Riley, and more times than not, he's been right. I don't think bringing in an older, more injury-prone Joel Embiid to team up with an older, more injury-prone Jimmy Butler is a catalyst to Miami winning a title. It's a catalyst for them to be a disaster for many years when those two guys who are both, I would say, more closer to the end than the beginning. What will that leave Miami in the future? What will they look like? Like, I love Pat Riley, and he's clever at making deals. I honestly don't think Miami has enough to offer Philly to get Joel Embiid. I don't see what they have to offer that wouldn't gut their team. So all the people that think he's going to Miami, there must be a third team involved in some picks and some other compensation, because Miami alone, they don't have anything. If you're going off of that, there's at least 10 or 15 teams that can make a better offer than Miami.
I think I saw that the leading odds getter right now for a potential Embiid trade is actually it's the Pacers, which absolutely sounds terrible. And a lot of people, and why I say that is, once again, I'm not trying to say Embiid's terrible. What I am saying is you want to pair a guy in Halliburton who is already struggling this year, because I think a big problem right now with the Pacers is Hallie wants to play fast, but Siakam and Mathurin have both liked to slow the ball down. And when they were at their absolute best, that ball was just flying around. And now what you're going to pair somebody who's at his best running the floor with Embiid, who also wants to work slow in the post. I don't think that goes as well as people think. I almost think that almost just kind of hurts Hallie even more at that point.
I think it hurts them a great deal more. Look, they're no perfect players, but one of the holes in Tyrese Halliburton's game is the fact that he's nowhere near the player in the half-court set that he is in the open court. He's just not as effective in the half-court. He's pretty good in pick and roll, but he's not even one of the better pick and roll players, because he doesn't attack the defense and keep them on their heels. When he runs pick and roll, more times than not, he's either looking to pass or he's going to pull up and take a contested jump shot. He doesn't really attack the basket the way you would want somebody like him to do. I think they've slowed down, but I also pointed out what the Pacers did last year was a great run. I said I didn't think it was the start of them suddenly becoming a beast in the East. They're not. Look at their team top to bottom. Halliburton's an all-star. Siakam is an all-star, but neither one of them is a superstar. They're not. And they don't have they have Mathurin could potentially be a third star. What they do have is Indiana has a lot of depth. They have a lot of really good players, but I don't think they're one of the more talented teams in the NBA. I just think they're one of the younger, deeper teams in the NBA. I do think they need another guy that can get you buckets. I think Halliburton, if he has to slow it down, he's going to be more a traditional point guard, meaning he'll still give you 18 or 19 a night with 10 or 11 assists. But if that's the way it's got to be, then they're going to have to go out and get another scorer, because outside of what Siakam and Mathurin can do, nobody else is really a natural scorer.
I think you kind of touched on my biggest problem with Tyrese Halliburton, too. If that man would just look to touch the paint more often on his drives and look to finish around the rim, he would just be exponentially better. And that's been super frustrating with him, too. I'm still high on him. He'll turn it around. I believe in him, but I think he's just got to do some slight tweaks to his game in order to really hit that next level I believe he can hit.
I'm definitely a fan. And these are growing pains that you have to go through. Sometimes you have to have some success, some adversity, get knocked down, and I think he eventually will. I think the Pacers as a franchise will. It's not like they're not going to make the postseason. I think the Pacers will eventually get it together, go on a string, and they'll be in the postseason. But the NBA has always been a star-driven league, and if you look at the East, at least the teams that are considered true title contenders, the Bucks have Giannis and Dame. The Knicks have Brunson and Cat. Everybody's got multiple, I would say, one guy's an all-star, one guy's a superstar, or maybe you have two superstars. I think the Pacers have two all-stars. And Halliburton could breach that and elevate himself to being a superstar if he took advantage of something that he doesn't do too often. Brett, he's 6'7". But a lot of times when you watch him play, you swear he's 6'1". Like, he should be able to go down in the post and wear out some smaller guards. And when bigger guards are on him, he's quick enough to get to the rim. If he can live at the free throw line. If he were aggressive, Tyrese Halliburton shooting 8 free throws a game.
And that's the leap I thought we were getting this year that we just, we haven't seen it yet. We have ourselves a 5-point game with 1:20 left.
Yeah, Ant just had a big one.
I think one of the most crazy stories. Corner. I don't know what happened with Dante DiVincenzo, man. It's like Ant took all of his 3-point shooting ability. Like, Ant hitting 42% of his threes on 11 a game is the most insane thing ever. But now Dante just doesn't remember how to shoot. It's like a weird situation.
And it's his confidence. And I still think, and I know we say, hey, you got to be a pro's pro. It's the nature of the beast. I still think DiVincenzo hasn't recovered from being traded from the Knicks. I think Julius Randle moved on and didn't give it a second thought. But DiVincenzo, I think it's affected him more than people want to really admit.
Honestly, that's probably it. Because he's getting a lot of clean looks. They're just not falling for him. And he just committed that foul right there. Oof. Well, here we go. Let's see if RJ can make this a 7-point game. And he does. Looks like the Timberwolves are about to drop this one to the Raptors.
Well, look, Quickly's not there yet, but I'm putting it out there. When they're whole, they're going to be in the playoffs. They've got a nice threesome, and Dick has elevated himself. Look, to me, the Raptors are one shooter away from being really scary.
By the way, Mo, we might have a contender for the worst starting lineup of the year. Did you see that Pelicans lineup against Cleveland?
I did not.
All right, so our starting lineup of Alfred Payton. I forgot he was still in the league.
He's still in the. I didn't know he was in the league. Wow. Good for him.
Apparently, they signed him the same day and then started him.
Wow.
Brandon Boston Jr., Javante Green, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, and UV Missy was the actual starting lineup for the Pelicans.
Wow. So I already know Zion's out. I know CJ's out. Obviously, Dejounte Murray's out. So no Ingram, no Trey Murphy. Wow. No. I mean, Fred Jones is out. Like all their best players are in street clothes. That's crazy.
Yeah, they to put it into perspective, their top 7 rotation guys are hurt. The guy making the most money who's healthy is UV Missy, who's on a rookie scale deal this year.
Wow. That's an expensive bench.
Right?
And look, I brought this up on TikTok. I asked the question because I think about these things. I'm like you, I overthink. And when these things are swirling around in my head, I just put them out there, let somebody else answer. I think the Pelican situation is very similar to the Sixers situation. Zion is a younger man, but in a potential over 400 plus games in his career, he's only played in 190.
Zion's like 24, but he's like body wise, the man's already like 34.
Right, he's aging in a way like Embiid is, and you see it right before you. And I know people are quick to go, "Oh wait, bro, you don't trade Zion. He's gonna." Yes, you do. You know when you know what you're doing is you're hanging on to his talent. What I'm doing is I'm hanging on to his results and lack of availability. That's not going to suddenly change. The man played 24 games his rookie year. He played 61 in year 2, which is great. And then he missed the entire following year. Followed that up with another, 20-something game. It is what he is. He is incredibly talented. But he is going to go into that category that we talk about a lot of times when we talk about guys like Brandon Roy or the great Grant Hill. He's going to be another what-if player. He is. And if I'm the Pelicans, knowing this, the headlights are there. He's a what-if player. Don't wait. The man's 24 years old. You don't think there's a franchise out there you a haul for them? Of course there is. Move him now while he has great value. That way he can go to another franchise and be an anchor around their neck. I'm just saying. It's right in front of you. Right in front of you.
Oh no. Oh no. Naz Reid is down holding his knee.
That's not good at all. Oh no.
Oh, he's in a world of pain. Oh God.
He's one of my favorite players too. I love the way he turned his game, what he's done with his game.
It looked like maybe that was friendly fire. Was that Ant that took him out diving for a loose ball?
Yeah, I thought it was a teammate that took him out.
Oh no, it was just he tripped over Scotty Barnes. The scary part is it didn't even look like there was that much contact.
Yeah.
That was borderline non-contact.
I want to see it again. I hope it's just a knees bruise. It looked like he got maybe shoulder on knee. I don't know. That's rough.
Oh man, I'm praying that he's all right.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to be injured. I'm that guy. I want everybody's best players to be healthy. I want to see the best of the best out there competing. I don't want to do the well, so and so didn't play or so and so wasn't healthy. I want everybody healthy. If there was a magic pill that you could pass around, I'm giving it to Zion, in Embiid, and anybody else. Matter of fact, the first person I'm giving it to is Kawhi Leonard.
Did you see that the Ringer came out with their top 25 players and they updated it for this year?
Oh, they did.
Oh my gosh, it is the funniest thing ever. I feel like you'll get it. Well, Naz Reid's walking off under his own power. That's
a good sign. I'll take that as positive. Okay.
So this is where this gets funny to me, Mo. So the first couple are fine. Jokic, Luka, Giannis for the top 3.
No problem with that.
Tatum, SGA, Steph Curry for the next 3.
Okay.
Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid for the next 3.
I mean,
I
don't know about that one. Where honestly, I mean, that's not it. I don't totally agree with that, but that's not a terrible take, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of like that take that I sent you, like the guy's take that he did. What was that where he said he was saying? Who was he talking about? Was it Kevin Durant?
Oh yeah, the top 10
players right now, right? And he
it was
like
top 10 players since 2000, and he didn't have KD on there.
That was it. And he went through all these guys, and I'm like, since 2000 is a long time, bro. And I'm like, I'll give him. He named some players who have had hella careers that you can't go that there were nobodies. But I would argue, I don't agree with his take. The Kawhi Leonard thing is very interesting. I completely understand that. And Kawhi is unique, right? If Kawhi Leonard never plays again, and I hope that's not the case, but if he never plays again, I think he's going to go in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
And what you have to remember about him is, Brett, Kawhi established himself as a talent, as being a great defensive player, right? He was an elite defender that turned himself into a guy that could give you 23, 25 points a night. But to say Kawhi has been better than Kevin Durant I don't think so. I don't think so. I get it. You want to make the case, well, Kawhi, he won a title as the best player with the Raptors. Yeah, no argument. But I would argue that even though Steph and them were there, KD was the best player. He was the best player. It's a very weird dynamic with KD and Steph. I think Steph has had a greater career. But if you just look as an individual talent, are you really going to go, Steph's a much better player than KD? No, you're going to, if you point out what they do good or versus the other guy, he's a greater range shooter than Kevin Durant. Is he a greater scorer than Kevin Durant? No. Is he a harder guard? He's a very unique hard guard because of all the chaos he causes by just movement. He's very unique. But Durant's very unique too. He's a 7-foot guy that can break your ankles and pull up from 3. How many guys can do that? I don't agree with the Kawhi. I think Kawhi is great. Kawhi is one of my favorite players. I would not put Kawhi ahead of Kevin Durant. I don't have a problem putting Steph ahead of Kevin Durant because, again, I'm not talking about as an individual talent. I'm talking about their careers. Steph has had the greater career.
No, yeah, and it's funny because the argument was, well, remember how, great and two-way all these players were, like,
right.
I think we forget how great Kevin Durant's defense was on that Warriors team. Like, it's not like he helped anchor like a really bad defensive team. Like, those Warriors teams, now granted, obviously Draymond's the leading defensive force here, but Kevin Durant was still a big part in them remaining at the top, being like, first in the league in defense pretty much every year he was there. And I think a lot of people seem to forget that. They act like Kevin Durant was never a two-way presence.
Yeah, I get it. You're caught up in where Kevin Durant has been since he was with Golden State. I'm just talking about the breadth of his career. Like even if you just took his career with Oklahoma City, just that alone, he's a multiple-time All-NBA player. He won MVP. Just one of the most unguardable players in basketball. That's just his career in Oklahoma City. What he did with Golden State, to me, just solidified what he had already established. The guy went there and literally delivered. Sometimes we hype up a move and go, what if it doesn't pan out? They hyped up the Kevin Durant move, and he literally did what he was supposed to do, leading them to 2 championships, and he won 2 Finals MVPs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's one move that definitely worked out for the best. And the rest of this list, by the way, and there's one name on here that I think will catch your eye just like it did mine. So I'm just going to start reading them off. We got 10, Anthony Edwards; 11, LeBron James; 12, Jalen Brunson; 13, Jaylen Brown; 14, Devin Booker; 15, Donovan Mitchell; 16, Victor Wembanyama; 17, John Morant; 18, Tyrese Halliburton; 19, Domantas Sabonis; 20, De'Aaron Fox; 21, Paulo Banchero; 22, Bam Adebayo; 23, Kawhi Leonard; 24, Tyrese Maxey; 25, Kyrie Irving.
They still got Kawhi in there. The man, the man's not even gonna play this year. The man's not even gonna play.
That's the part that got me too. I was like, wait a minute. Like, I haven't updated my list yet. I would definitely bump Kawhi out.
Yeah.
For anybody that's just tuning in, I had Kawhi as like, I think I still had him top 20. I thought he was going to be the 16th best player this year, which I thought was a pretty fair assessment after last year. But yeah, right now he's not even a thought because he hasn't even played. So I don't know how you can keep him in the top 25 at that point.
And I don't hate the list completely because a lot of guys in there I do like. I would say up until recently, Jalen Brunson wasn't playing like a top 20 player. He was not playing well. I mean, he's not great defensively, but at least you offset that with what he did offensively. But he did not get off to a good start this season. He's picked it up since. I think he's kind of been a little underwhelming this year. I think Halliburton clearly has been a little bit underwhelming this year. I think Anthony Edwards probably deserves a little bit more shine, a little bit more respect. You pointed out something that nobody talks about enough. This guy on the floor in a given period of time can attack the rim and get to the foul line at will, but he's shooting the three at such a high level. And the man takes what he takes like 11 or 12 again. Like, yeah. And he does it. And when he shoots it, Brett, he's shooting it like he's shooting a 12-foot jump shot. Like his form, it's insane what he can do. I'm not one of those people that looked at Ant in a blink and said, yeah, he's going to carry the league to the next level. I looked at him and said, I can see him being one of the guys that helped carry the league for the next foreseeable future. But I don't think there's any one guy that I look at and go, well, he's way better than everybody else. Look, the most skilled guys are still the guys that have been the most skilled guys, you could argue, Brett, the last 3 or 4 years. Giannis, Joker, Luka, right? They were already there. And I don't see nobody usurping any of the three of them. I don't. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has a great chance in terms of competing for the MVP, but I don't think it's a walk for him, especially when you look at how well Joker is playing. Like, if Joker is able to sustain those numbers and he leaves that Nuggets to say they're the 3rd seed in the West, I honestly think there's a real chance that Joker will win another MVP.
And that is crazy to think about. Like, I really didn't think that he had. Obviously, Jokic always has a chance, but I thought voter fatigue would completely kill his chance. But he's just upped his game to another level, which I didn't even think he had somehow. Like,
me neither. I didn't think he became a better shooter, Brett, like he needed to, but he's a better shooter.
Like, still, like, what gets me every time, Mo, is his 3-point shooting right now.
That's it.
Like, on tightly contested threes, he's shooting 25%, which is fine. Nobody shoots a lot of tightly contested threes, but if you leave him open, he's shooting 57%. If you leave him wide open, 62%.
That's insane.
Like, you cannot leave this man open at all, and it's crazy.
Just for the record, though, for anybody out there watching, if you play the Denver Nuggets, I'm not even a head coach. Should I not have to tell you don't leave Jokic alone? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather run another man at him and risk him getting another assist, which, by the way, is likely because he's a great passer, than let him operate one-on-one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now I'm just kind of. Oh my God, that is rough. So with And this is a fun one too. With Jokic on the floor, the Nuggets have an effective field goal percentage of 58.5. That's good. That's good. Good job, Nuggets. With him off the court, 46.
I'm actually surprised it's that high, but yeah.
Like, this is just a wild chart to kind of visualize. Like, I'm looking at, like, we're looking at 22% from three without Jokic. Like, they just can't shoot from this side of the court. They can't finish at the rim. There's just absolutely nothing good, nothing cooking for them if Jokic isn't on the court.
And he just takes a lot of pride that he's got it.
Yeah, which is why I think it would be even more impressive if he leads them to a 50-plus win season. Why wouldn't he have as good a shot at anybody to win another MVP? Like, I was having this thought about certain things in the NBA that I don't see changing. Certain, I guess, achievements. Look, LeBron being the all-time leading scorer, some guy will come along. I just don't think he's going to come along in my lifetime, right? It's going to be a minute. And the other one was the idea that there was going to be a player that was going to be able to win 6 regular season MVPs in this era. I was going to tell you, like, I doubt it. You might get a couple of guys get 2 or 3, maybe even 4. A Joker has the potential. And I don't want to root out Giannis either, but I think those two have the potential to blow that out the water. Like, I don't know if Giannis can get to 6. He can probably get to 3 or 4. If Joker wins this year, he's so much of he's still a young man. And don't forget, he has the kind of game, Brett. I think Joker's game is going to age quite well. I think his game is going to age a lot like Tim Duncan's game age. So you don't think that Jokic could be at age 32, 33 still in the MVP hunt? Absolutely. I think he has a real shot to be the guy to win 5 or 6 regular season MVPs.
Yeah, and I think that's the craziest part too with Jokic. Like, the man will probably be an MVP candidate for pretty much as long as he plays. Like, he's not gonna age too brutally. Like, the only difference you're gonna see with him aging probably is defense, but his offensive game is just gonna age like wine at this rate.
And I think his basketball IQ, guys like him, the basketball IQ, it actually goes up. He actually starts figuring things out even more ahead of time. He's always 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. The question is, do I think Jokic will finish his career as a member of the Denver Nuggets? I hope he does. It's kind of a good old school thought process that you get a great player, the franchise develops him, and he begins and ends his career with that franchise. I root for stuff like that, so I hope he does.
I definitely think you will. He just seems like a very loyal guy and doesn't really want to move. And plus, I think a big thing with him too is he just doesn't seem interested in the bright lights and like the bigger markets. So Denver's almost like a perfect spot for him to just kind of do his thing, but in a majority of the way, stay out of the spotlight as much as he can. But when you're as good as him, there's only so much staying out of the spotlight that you can do.
This is true. No, so yeah, those are the things I think about constantly. We're always talking about player movement and potential trades. I think the Embiid thing is the smart thing for the Sixers, but Daryl Morey, he's not the kind of GM that would make that kind of move. I think David Griffin have to seriously consider going forward. Do you lean into Zion being your? I know you want to. But you can't get caught up in his potential and not look at what the time he has had with you, where he's been, when he's been available. And here's the thing about Zion. I think if he's fully healthy and he plays 4 seasons in a row fully healthy, I think the Pelicans would be very entertaining. I think they would be competitive in terms of they'd be a perennial playoff contender. I don't think he's leading you to the finals. Okay, even if he's not injured at all, he's fully healthy and he does what he does. he's not leading you to a championship. Ultimately, the goal is to win championships. All the same way, all franchise players aren't built the same. All all-stars aren't the same either. Some all-stars or some superstars actually take you to an NBA championship, or at least take you to an NBA finals. I don't see Zion being that guy. I don't think he's got that dog in him to where he could be that guy. He's got number one talent. He's got the guy he looks like the kind of guy that can carry you to a point, not to a championship, not to a finals.
It's funny, like the Zion Williamson experience can almost be perfectly summed up by the play-in game against your Lakers last year, where he came out and he was dominating. That man was on fire, but then he got hurt and he didn't finish the game and he missed the next game. And that's almost like this perfect Zion like encapsulation where, yes, you want to see Zion do well, but and when he's on the court, he can dominate, but he's never on the court to do so. And I thought that game was like the perfect like moment capturing of Zion's career so far.
It sums it up in a nutshell. It's you get this. There was this game where he just outplayed everybody on the floor. You talked about it against the Lakers, and right in the middle of dominating, he got hurt. And it is what it is. That's the tough pill to swallow. You see that, and as a GM, you're like, man, if we could just keep this guy healthy, what he might be able to do. I fully embrace that and understand it. And yet, at the same time, as a GM, you have to also look at your franchise's long-term health and where you're going and what direction you're going in. I think Zion Williamson is so talented. He's just talented enough that he's going to break your franchise's heart more times than not.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Mo, I saw this post and it gave me like 3 different options. And this is, they accidentally assembled the greatest team ever on here, maybe. Or at least one of them. So it's one of those, which would you rather have? So I'm going to start off with the one I think that we'd both vote for third place in this exercise. The 2016 Warriors plus Joel Embiid. The 2012 Thunder plus Shaq. Or the 2013 Heat plus Jokic.
Wow.
Which team would you rather? To me, I figured this one out really quick, what I'd rather have, but
The 2013 Heat, man.
Yeah, that was my first thought too, because my first thought was, oh my gosh, you're putting LeBron and Dwayne Wade on the same team with a guy who can pass like Jokic,
right?
And Chris Bosh is now the Aaron Gordon role. Like, oh my goodness!
And remember, the 2013 LeBron might be the best player you've ever seen, and you're bringing Jokic to that guy. That's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
I definitely think second is I do like Shaq on the Thunder. I would probably go Shaq on the Thunder. I think my problem with Embiid Kerr potential team up is because Kerr doesn't really use centers. Like, he uses them in such a minimal role that I'm not sure that Joel really would thrive in that kind of environment.
And Golden State plays fast. He kind of goes against how they play, right?
Yeah.
I actually think he would easily be the worst addition. I just don't think he'd be a good fit.
I'll say putting Shaq on the 2012 Thunder is fun because they really like to ISO anyway, so just dumping it down low to Shaq wouldn't actually really disrupt much of anything. In fact, he's replacing those random Kendrick Perkins post-ups they gave him when he was there, so much better offense, but every single miss is a fast break against the 2013 Heat. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And half the makes too, probably. If you get caught jogging back, you're done.
Well, I don't even know how you would try to solve that puzzle, because you can run the offense through LeBron. You can run the offense through Joker. Different times you can run it through Wade. Like you said, What a luxury that Chris Bosh is your fourth option. That's crazy.
Like I think the only real way to guard him is like pray. please, please let Mario Chalmers miss every single shot.
Right,
in this
right.
game.
I was just getting ready to say, like, so you're trying to set your defense up to where they swing the ball to Chalmers a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chalmers was actually a really good role player, so he can make you pay. But yeah, whoever posted that, that's very interesting. But at the same time, to me, it was a no-brainer which team you would choose.
Yeah, and plus Miami would be super deep at that point too. I think they'd be deeper than both teams because now like my bench is Mike Miller, Shane Battier, Ray Allen still had some juice. I'm not gonna say he had a lot of juice, but he at least had enough to hit a really big shot in Game 6. But
He did.
yeah, even like you could really use even someone like Norris Cole or.
I forgot about how good a player Shane Battier was. Good player. Good player.
Oh no, absolutely. It takes those like you can also you can get rid of like the Birdman minutes.
Yeah.
Although I was stupid good with Birdman when that 2K13 was around. Me and my friend, a fun story. We'd always play a game where we would play, but the condition on offense was we could only shoot with the worst shooters on the team. So a lot of it was just us chucking up shots with really bad shooting centers. I shot so many threes with Birdman that game, I actually became a good shooter with Birdman.
Birdman got on fire.
Oh, I'd make so many people quit because I'd load in with the Heat. They're trying to stop Wade, Braun, Bosch. Meanwhile, I'm just raining threes from the corner with Birdman, and
That's crazy.
They have no clue what to do at that point. Yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite 2Ks to play. Oh yeah, this week me and your team play each other in football. It's Packers 49ers week.
Yeah, it's a big game for both teams. I think objectively, I think it's a make or break game for the Niners.
I'm worried about this game. I really am because Edgar and Cooper, he's probably out this week. Jair's out this week. I think what we're going to see a lot from the 49ers, and I think the key for them is simple. Just keep it simple. Get Kittle and McCaffrey matched up on Quay Walker, who's been absolutely terrible for the Packers this year, and just go at him. He's giving up 8.5 yards in coverage every time they target him, pretty much. So
yeah,
I think
you say that, but it works both ways. I'm worried about Jordan Love throwing for about a 340 or something like that against our secondary. So I mean, there's this game might turn into a shootout, which is nerve-wracking because you don't want to get caught in a shootout. But it wouldn't shock me if you get a 28-31 decision or 34 to 28 game, something like that.
I would absolutely take it. Like, I'm hoping for a very entertaining game this week. I will not lie, though. I'm hoping this is not the last time we see the 49ers. I'm the kind of guy that always wants revenge.
Oh.
So I want the 49ers in the playoffs.
You're funny, too. Well, look, Dan, we're on the same side. We both want the Niners to get into the playoffs. Although I think this might be one of those years where they come up just short. Chris has this number that he talks about, the magical number 8, and it's a good one. You get 8 losses, you're done. If you're in the 49ers division, 8 losses, not only won't you win the division, you're not going to play. Like, that division is so closely contested, only one team is going to make the playoffs coming out of that division. I don't think 2 teams are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Kyle Shanahan's got to adjust his system, though. He's got to put more on Brock Purdy's plate. And what I mean by that is just from protection standpoints. Like, the thing with the Shanahan system, for anybody if anybody listening doesn't really know much about Shanahan, he has his protections baked into the play call, which is fine at times, but defenses have started to figure it out how to really take advantage and just kind of get a free rusher on a lot of crucial downs. You saw it in the Super Bowl. You saw it, multiple times this year with a lot of clutch downs where they're just loading up one side and then kind of easily scheming themselves a free rusher. So I think he has to at least adjust his system to give Purdy a little more freedom to move the protection around. Because if he's able to adjust the protection, they probably win the Super Bowl last year. And if the protection was better, which the line did fine, but it's just if I know I can scheme, free rushers all game, that's tough to deal with. And that obviously was ultimately kind of did them in at the end.
They've been struggling. The offense has been, I would say, up and down. Granted, McCaffrey's missed most of the season. Brandon Ayuk is gone for the season. Juan Jennings has been solid. Debo has been okay. Really, the best player, the most consistent players on the offense have been George Kittle and Brock Purdy. It's been those two guys. And whenever George Kittle plays, I feel better on two fronts. One, because he can, as a tight end, he can beat you in the seams and he can get vertical and get deep. And he's still one of the 2 or 3 best blocking tight ends in football. So George Kittle impacts the game in multiple ways. But the defense has been so inconsistent that I just think teams have been feasting on them, not just at running the football, but definitely through the air. The secondary has definitely taken their lumps this year. And like I said, looking at this game coming up with Jordan Love, with that young receiving core, my guess is if the Niners are able to do a solid job and not give up explosive plays, then what's going to happen is it's going to open up the run game for Green Bay. So I just think it's one of those kind of games that it would shock me if a lot of points weren't scored.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Overall, I think it's going to be a ton of fun. And by the way, I'm also curious with this Lakers and Orlando game. Another guy that forgot how to shoot, Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Very good signing still. I think, he turns it around eventually, but it's been a rough start for him to start this year.
Yeah, I think it was a great start. Look, the signing is a great signing because it brought in veteran leadership. It gives you another perimeter defender. And normally, I would say it gives you another big shot maker. He struggled with his shot during preseason. It just hasn't happened. But I think it'll eventually come around. It will. I still think it's a good signing. I want to give the Magic a lot of credit. They are without their best player, and they've still managed to kind of play 500 basketball. So that goes to show you the growth and the connectivity that this young team has. They just go out and get it. They're not explosive offensively without Paolo, but because they compete so hard defensively, they're able to stay in games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy too. Shout out to Gary Trent Jr. He's finally starting to find his form. Some players just seem to be playing better. They play better coming off the bench. Ever since we benched Gary Trent Jr., he's all of a sudden started to find his stroke, and it's really been mutually beneficial because that Dame and AJ Green combo in the backcourt has done wonders for us.
Speaking of finding their shot, look, the guy that I wanted the Lakers to insert into the starting lineup, Dalton Knecht. What he did the last game, going for 37 points, hitting, I believe, with 9 threes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Look, I think Dalton Knecht should be a full-time starter with the Lakers. I hope it's not a temporary thing. I know when Rui gets back. I thought Rui was going to have a season, not a huge difference. I think he averaged 13 a game last year. I thought he could bump that up to 16 this year. But Rui is more of an opportunity scorer. He's not really always looking to be aggressive. What I love about Dalton Knecht is no one has to tell him to shoot the ball, Brett. If he gets the ball, he's shooting it. He doesn't lack for confidence.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he's slowly been steadily improving on defense. I saw that was a big, kind of a big criticism of him to, start the year, which is fair. He's a rookie, just starting out getting his legs wet in the NBA.
Right.
So the more reps he gets, he's just going to become even better, and that's kind of scary because you saw the potential from last game. I almost think that he could very well become. I would say I could see some almost like a Danny Green in his game.
That's not a bad. You know what? I'm going to say Danny Green, but with a little extra because Danny Green couldn't really put it on the floor. Dog Connect can put it on the floor a little bit.
I almost said Aaron Aflalo, but that might just be the Magic talking.
Aaron Aflalo, I haven't heard that name in a minute. UCLA's own, one of my guys.
I'll say, yeah, I was just having some fun looking through some old Magic stuff, and it was really a blast from the past seeing names like him and, of course, Magic legend Jameer Nelson.
Jameer Nelson. You know what? The funny thing about Jameer Nelson, I hadn't heard his name mentioned a lot, but they were having this big thing. I'm sure you saw it. It was like it was about a year ago. Not even a year ago. So LeBron and JJ Redick are doing their podcast. And they're talking about how, the Dwight Howard's Magic upset, Cleveland in the conference finals, right? Because that was the year where LeBron and Kobe were supposed to meet in the finals. Kobe did his job. He's waiting for LeBron. But they get upset. And of course, JJ Redick is on that Orlando team. And JJ Redick goes, I don't know how people are upset at you. I'm like, look at our team. We have Rashard Lewis, Hedo Turkoglu. He said we had Jameer Nelson, Rafer Alston, Martin Cordat. I mean, he was going down the list. They did have a really good team. He said, me. And it was like, how are you supposed to win that series? And somebody should have pointed out to JJ Redick, JJ, Jameer Nelson didn't play the entire series, buddy. He got hurt before that series. You're a teammate. You're supposed to know that. Jameer Nelson was a non-factor. You're supposed look. Cleveland came in with the number 1 seed. They should have beat Orlando. Orlando had a good team, but they didn't have they weren't superstars. They were really good players, but it's not like Rashard Lewis was going to break you down off the dribble or Rayford Austin was known for his shooting. Like you should have won that. You should have won that series. I just thought it was funny that he pointed out Jameer Nelson, and he's like, don't forget, Jameer made the All-Star team that year, which is also true, but you got to also remember he got hurt before that series. He didn't play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The real problem with when we're talking about the Cavs, that 08-09 Cavs team, the real issue, it just ends up being they were 11 points worse with LeBron James off the court, and they could never figure out how to really bridge those LeBron minutes. And if we're looking at the Orlando series in general, they didn't have an answer for Dwight Howard. I really feel like it's as simple as that. Dwight Howard just completely wreaked havoc inside, and then it just completely opened up Orlando shooting. And there's just, at that point, the floodgates were kind of open. I like Ben Wallace, not an 09 trying to guard Dwight Howard.
Yeah,
Big Z was just too slow to guard Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
And you don't want to task LeBron with trying to be your team's entire offense for 48 minutes and also trying to guard Dwight Howard. So they were just kind of stuck at that point.
Well, that version of Dwight Howard to me is basically that's about peak Dwight Howard. And obviously that version of Ben Wallace, that is not peak Ben Wallace. The Magic were, I think, I don't disagree that they were a deeper team, but Cleveland had a good team. They had a good team. They just struggled, like you said, when LeBron went to the bench. Which, by the way, during the regular season, that was not the case. But the playoffs is a different animal. They would build up leads. Mo Williams and the crew would hold on to the lead or do a good job, or at least play the other team even. Then LeBron would come back on, and they struggled. They struggled mightily in the postseason.
Speaking of LeBron, he gets the scoring started. Nice little finger roll. All right, here comes Suggs. Here comes Franz Wagner. Nice move. Nice move. I love to see it. Huh? Say Tristan De La Silva with the lay-in. There it is. Here comes AD, taking it down. Ooh! And he's going to the line. I think that's a big key for the Lakers tonight. AD, just remain aggressive. They don't have anybody that can guard you. Let them know.
Yeah, if Anthony Davis, as long as he stays aggressive, unguardable.
Yeah, especially like Goga can't guard him. If I'm JJ Redick next time down the court, you know, just run it again.
And look, I'm not mad at the Lakers start. Like I said, I think they have a real good chance to win the division. They're 10-4. Not surprising to me at all. I think I'll have a better idea if they can actually win the division once we get about 25 games in, because obviously you got to give a lot of credit to how fast a start Golden State has gotten out the box. I'm not going to lie to you, Brett. I did not see Golden State being this good, but they've been amazing. They've been amazing, and they look like they found this new formula where the old rules where you go 8 men deep or 9 men deep, Steve Kerr threw that out. They go 10 and 11 guys deep.
Yeah, and you know, Buddy Hield has fit that system just so perfectly.
He really has. I'm gonna give the man the credit he deserves. I thought when they signed him, I was like, they got Buddy Hield. I was like, we'll see. I wasn't overwhelmed at the signing, but it looks like his skill set, his shooting, and the way they move bodies along with the ball, it fits him to a T.
I will say when Paulo does eventually return, I think they'll still have to make sure to get Franz some more looks at the rim. Let's say with Paulo in there, I know sometimes the offense can get stagnant. It kind of makes Franz more of a spot up shooter, but he's so good at getting downhill and when he can get to the rim. I think when Paulo comes back, they're going to have to make sure that they're running a lot of actions to get Franz going towards the rim.
Yeah, I think you have to keep him aggressive because Paolo can get his shot whenever he wants to. If Franz gets caught up in just watching Paolo play, then it kind of takes away from his aggression. So I think you've got to constantly find different ways to get Franz the ball where he's on the attack and he's getting downhill.
Ooh, all right. Well, Jalen Suggs with 3. Not a fan of that double team. I never like doubling from one pass away. Ooh, LeBron with the answer? Nope, short. Cleared. Here he comes right back to Suggs. He's taking it up. Oh, thought about it. See, here we go. Here comes Franz going to work. And again, one pass away. This time it pays off. Suggs leaves it short. And set. Oh, count it.
That was nice.
Good take by Austin Reeves on the and one right there.
I think Austin Reeves is very deceptively good at beating people off the dribble. Like you don't realize it, but Austin Reeves is pretty nice off the dribble.
No, absolutely. You know, keeps throwing me off that I keep forgetting what he looks like. Tristan De La Silva. I know they just drafted him and that he's new in the league, but I keep looking at him like, who's that? Oh wow, bad take by Wagner. Davis sends it back. Probably.
I don't know. You got me thinking. I'm looking at De La Silva, and for some reason, I feel like I'm watching a college game. That's how young he looks.
Oh my goodness. Right? that's the part that's throwing me off. Oh, Suggs lines one up, off. Magic off to start this one.
And the Lakers have already got 4 or 5 baskets in the paint. Not a good start for Orlando.
Oh, good take. Count it. And one. Jalen Suggs going to the line. Also, if you're the Lakers, I think you gotta really prioritize ball security. I think you have the better team in this one, especially with Banchero and the Magic dealing with injury.
Right.
Just take care of the ball. Don't.
No, I'm with you. I think the Lakers take care of the ball and don't make it so complicated. You should be able to control the paint.
Oh, absolutely. Like right now, you know what my play call is? Give it to AD.
Over and over and over.
Oh, all right. You know what? Austin Reeves says I don't need AD. Here we go. Oh, and oh. Franz saves it, and it's a nice little turnaround. Okay. All right. So it's currently 15-12 Lakers over the Orlando Magic. Comes Braun. It looks like he wants to attack Gary Harris. Nope. And just a bad pass by AD. It's picked off. Franz takes it the other way. Ooh, just a lazy pass right there.
That was.
Nope. LeBron with the answer. Yup. Count it. LeBron with the three. We have a 18-14 game.
I think the thing about Orlando is if you're not on top of your game and you're sloppy with the basketball, they'll make you pay.
No, absolutely. And Franz with another and one. And that's the thing with Orlando, too. You can't really throw sloppy passes around them. The thing that's really led their win streak has been their defense. They've been active, and they just do a lot of damage and force a lot of turnovers on the defensive end, so you just got to be careful. Cam with two quick ones.
I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like that's basically Cam Reddish's role. Start the game, get 2 or 3 quick fouls, and go sit down for a while.
Hey, at least he gave you some points this time.
He's one of those guys that they'll always talk about, like he's got all the talent in the world. I get it, but you know what? It doesn't always come out that way. I think he's found kind of a lane, Brett, where he's gonna make his bones in the NBA as a wing defender.
Yeah, I've heard about Cam Reddish's potential for like 5 years now, and I'm just kind of tired of it.
Oh, I'm not even doing potential. I'm saying what he can do as a rotation player.
Oh, yeah. No, I've still seen some people go like, well, his potential, I'm like, guys, he's been in the league since like 2019. This is it.
Yeah, whoever thinks they're still talking about his potential, yeah, that bus has left the station. Now we're just talking about what kind of role player he can be.
Oh, careful. Don't get yourself teed up. Franz Wagner with the travel. Here we go. Here comes Braun taking it down.
I think that's another part of Anthony Davis's game this year that has been really good because it hadn't been as good the last 2 years. He shot the 3-ball well this year so far.
That's huge. That's actually a reason, like, why I was so low on him, like a little lower than most on him to start the year. It's his, like, Gary Harris lines up a 3 and connects. But, like, for some reason, his, like, shooting splits were just continuously going in the wrong direction year after year. Okay, but no, he's really turned it around this year. Max Christie, what are you even on this team for?
Because of the $32 million.
Gary Harris lines another one up, but this one doesn't go. Silva hits the floor.
Interesting. Gary Harris kind of made his bones in the NBA as a 3-and-D guy with the Denver Nuggets. And I found it interesting because they bring in KCP, who established himself as a great 3-and-D guy with the Denver Nuggets. That's why when they first got KCP, I said, wait a minute. You got Suggs, you got Gary Harris. Like, I'm not saying you can't have enough perimeter players. that play defense and shoot the three at a high level. I'm not arguing that. I just thought because they already had a few, how is that going to work?
I will give this officiating team credit, absolute saint, because I swear Jalen Suggs was going to get teed up like 3 times in that span. Like he did not stop. He just kept going after. Oh my gosh.
The refs gave him a chance, though, right? They gave him every chance to let it go, walk away.
Yeah, no, I'll give him. That's what I'll give him credit for. I love refs that do that. The Magic have been called for a delay of game violation. No, I'll give. That's why I'll give him all the credit in the world. Most refs would have had a quick trigger finger on that technical. Honestly,
No doubt.
most refs, I'm just probably out of this game.
True. Oh.
Are they still? He's still going.
He's got to let it go. Either, yeah, he's got to walk away.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like take a break. What is happening? Because now they're going back to the scorers table. I think it's an equipment malfunction. They keep pointing up almost like it's...
What are your early impressions so far when you look at the Dallas Mavericks this season?
It's such a mixed bag because when they're on, they're a lot of fun. They're generating a lot of great offense, but I don't know what it is. Last year, I praised Luka because I thought he looked much better than he normally did defensively. But then this year, he's like back to kind of that lazy ball we saw almost in the playoffs at times. And I think Luka's defense can be summed up by that game winner he gave up on John Collins against Utah, where he stood there. He didn't know what he was doing. I think the Mavericks have so much potential. But Luka's defense just hasn't recovered ever since he got hurt like midway through last year. And I think if they really want to make another run to the finals and be a serious contender, I think they got to find a way to get more out of their guards on defense.
I would agree with that as well. I would also and look, the two guys that are consistent, and I'm sure you know this for them, you can book it there between Gabbert and Lively. Those two guys. They're a perfect center tandem. That tandem, they basically give you the production of an all-star caliber center, right?
Yeah.
And their skill sets are similar but different. Like Derek Lively has all the energy in the world. He's relentless on the offensive glass. Gabbert is just a terrific finisher at the rim. Both of them are really good finishers. I just think they're the perfect kind of bigs to play off of Luka and Kyrie.
No, absolutely. Just for fun, I took a peek at Twitter to see what people are saying about this game so far. And the first comment is just, I am so effing done with Max Christie. The first comment, I'm like, you can't make that one up.
So
we just got...
Brad, here's the thing. If you say an opinion about somebody, then it sounds like you're killing them. I'm not trying to kill Max Christie. What I said was when they said they announced they gave him a $32 million contract, all I said was, what did he do? You know what I mean? Like I saw what I saw during the course of last year. I saw what I saw during the preseason. And then they gave him a $32 million contract. And I'm thinking, Max Christie must be hell in practice. He must really be getting after it in practice. But what hasn't happened yet is it does not translate to games, at least not consistently. You'll see a moment, and then he'll disappear. He'll be on the court, but you'll forget that Max Christie was ever on the court.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's it's funny because I never try to kill the guy either, but I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, okay, like, what has he done to earn this $8 million? When is he going to start earning this $8 million?
Right. That's all I'm saying. And clearly, Reddick loves him because Reddick he inserts him a lot. I think Reddick is trying to give him every opportunity to find his role on the team. And so far, I would say at best, he's been inconsistent.
Most points by a rookie, D'Lo, West, Kuzma, Connect. I really thought Jerry West would have been one in that category.
I would have thought he would have been number one.
Especially in like the 1960s with like the insane pace of play and everybody just going crazy scoring.
Right. I shouldn't be surprised about Kuzma because no one ever had to tell Kuzma to shoot the ball either.
Kuzma had the playmaking of like Mo Spates, where as soon as the ball hit his hand, you knew where that was going.
Right. Which, by the way, I think Kyle Kuzma would be an excellent fit for a lot of playoff contenders.
Absolutely, I would love him on my Bucks.
Yeah, he'd be a great fit as a fourth option or first guy off the bench, however you want to use him. He'd be a great fit in Milwaukee.
I'll say. Oh, turnover. Here we go. Running. Good take. There we go. Now he's cooking. Maybe we just had to like smack talk him a little bit to get him going.
Well, at least he's listening.
Travel again. Yep. Maybe that's the key, Mo. You just gotta like go on social media and just like send him some trash talk him a little, and that's what's gonna get Max going.
That play in that kind of play, that was more the play I'm looking for. And by the way, when I tell you that he struggled, but I don't think they're not looking for Max Christie to average 19 a game. I'm looking for Max Christie to give you 8 to 10 points and really good defense. That's all I'm looking for because that would make sense to me. That play that he made in the open court, yeah, that was a great play. You just need to see more consistency. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I can make the same case for D'Lo. As inconsistent as Max Christie is, there is no player more inconsistent on the Lakers than D'Lo.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's like villain number one on the Lakers. There's nobody I see get more hate on this team than D'Lo.
But he's talented, Brett, right? Nobody argues that D'Angelo Russell is talented. He's talented. I always believe that there should be this rule about certain NBA players where just because you're talented, it doesn't mean you're meant to be a starter. Maybe your lot in life is to be an elite six man, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Look at Jamal Crawford. Like, he was elite, but not as a starter.
Right. Like, or Lou Williams.
He was a good starter, but an elite six man.
He was. Early in his career, Jason Terry was a starter. But later in his career, he became more of a six man. Jason Terry was a terrific player. I think D'Lo would be terrific. I think D'Lo's better as a six man because I think that he doesn't have to defer as much and he can be more aggressive offensively.
No, absolutely. And he definitely looks much more comfortable coming off the bench.
Well, look, I guess coming off the bench, he doesn't have to deal with the LeBron eye roll as much either.
Yeah, that. Here we go. Oh, my.
What is he wearing?
What
is that? What is happening?
Oh yeah, and I was looking up some interesting facts about the Orlando Magic. Do you want to guess on who the first ever draft pick was for them? Mind you, obviously the Orlando franchise started in 88, 89. Do you want to take a swing at who their first ever draft pick was for the franchise?
Real draft pick or supplemental draft?
Real draft.
I'll throw out a name. I don't know. Scott Skiles?
No.
Terry Catledge. No, not Terry Catledge.
he's mainly known at this point for free throws.
Free throws?
Yeah, but not for making them.
Shaq?
No, Nick Anderson.
Oh, that's brutal. I mean, he used to make them, and then he got into the finals, and then he never made them again.
Yeah, it's just that one string of 4 consecutive misses just completely broke his confidence.
It literally altered not just that series, but it completely altered his career. Nick Anderson was one of those two guards. He was one of those power two guards that was bigger than most two guards, but he could shoot the three. And he was like on the verge of maybe being a semi all-star. And I think that series broke him because he became a completely different player. The Nick Anderson that used to attack the rim and get to the basket, he didn't do that anymore. He almost exclusively shot threes, so he didn't have to go to the foul line.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's really unfortunate because it really looked like that he would be at least a all-star, maybe even more than that at some point, and it just shows how important these games are because even the smallest thing can absolutely demoralize someone.
Yeah, it can literally shift the trajectory of your career. Because I remember that same series, I believe it's Orlando against the Rockets. And you looked at Houston, and they had some young role players who kind of got elevated for playing well in that series. So it's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing. And I remember I was one of those people in the moment, because you're living in the moment. I thought, man, the Orlando Magic, they're gonna run the East for the next 5 or 6 years, right? That's what it looked like.
No, absolutely. Oh, AD, okay, AD. They really don't have an answer for AD right now.
No, the best thing that he could do, and he tried to do, and he almost got a charge, was Mo Wagner could be more aggressive offensively. His best defense against AD is his offense.
No, absolutely.
To be fair to Mo Wagner, though, not a lot of people can guard Anthony Davis.
Connect with no fear. Laces that one. 34-29. All right. Love it.
That's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of this young man. Like, he doesn't defer. If he gets an opportunity to score, he's catching the ball and is raising up. No hesitation. No, look at it. I mean, no fear.
Oh, that left that one short at the win. Short off the rim. Here comes Anthony Black. Oh.
Look at that spin.
Ooh! I think that was the slowest pump fake I've ever seen, but it worked. So, awesome job, Mo.
But I called it, right? The best thing you can do against Anthony Davis, if you can't guard him, you have to attack him.
Yeah, you don't want to let him just sit there and be able to conserve energy on the defensive end.
Correct.
That's a nightmare.
If I'm playing against the Lakers, the two players that I'm going to attack, it's D'Lo's low-hanging fruit, but I'm going to make Anthony Davis and LeBron James play as much defense as possible, so that'll impact what they do late in the game.
I will say I'm excited to see once we we got a long way till the playoffs, but I'm excited to see hopefully a fully healthy Lakers team in the playoffs.
I want everybody fully healthy. You and I are both basketball junkies. And look, by the way, I know we're not doing the show. We're not doing N1 on TikTok tonight. But look, there are a lot of great content creators out there that we're both fans of. Our guys over at Hoops Temple, we love those guys, right? We love Aaron and Nate and their product and what they do. There's a young guy out there right now. I believe it's called Omar Talks on TikTok, Brett. And what he does is, it's funny because he and I do something similar. I talk a lot about how different players or teams' games would translate in today's NBA. He spotlights certain players, like he'll say, I'm going to tell you whether or not Kevin McHale would be a star, a superstar, average player, or a bum in today's NBA. And that's kind of what he goes off of. So it's entertaining stuff, good content. If you haven't checked it out, check out Omar Talks. Check out Mario Knows Best. Check out Coach Dante. Check out Baseline Bombs. Hoop Social, check them out as well. There's no shortage of great content creators on TikTok. My guy, J.R. Leonard, who knows, I think, everything there is to know about college football, he is just on it. So like I said, if you guys get a chance, not to mention, if you want to listen to two basketball junkies talk NBA and all things NBA, you might want to check out those two guys on the N1 podcast. They're pretty solid. They're pretty solid.
Yeah, 100%.
Love
their work.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. They're not bad.
By the way, Mo, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but I thought this was funny. Do you want to take a guess who the point guard they're talking about is? He was the best point guard in the NBA at a time when CP3 and Darren Williams were in their primes, and Nash and Kidd were still not far removed from their primes.
Wait, he was when CP3 and Darren Williams were at their prime. He was the best point guard in the NBA.
Yep, and Nash and Kidd were not far removed from their primes. Who
and
do you
they
think
were
this
still
is talking
playing.
about?
That's a tough one.
So yeah, we're looking at like around like the 08 to like 13, 14 area for this one.
I don't know. It wouldn't be Nash, would it?
No, if you would have guessed Rajon Rondo, you would be absolutely correct.
Well, I don't think he was the best point guard in the NBA.
He never was.
Look, by the way, anybody out there listening to Brett and I, this is not to say that I don't respect how great a player Rajon Rondo was. I just don't think he was ever the best point guard. That's why I didn't know where to go with this conversation. Like, I would have never guessed that in a million years.
I completely was confused at first too, because I was just on Twitter, and somebody had posted a highlight of Rondo doing that fake lob to LeBron and getting an easy layup.
Right.
And then somebody said he was really a once in a lifetime player. Just a lot of people don't see the vision, and that's when somebody actually said Rondo was the best point guard at a time when CP3 and Darren Williams were in their primes. I'm like, I'm sorry, but Rondo is never better than CP3. He was not even close to peak Darren Williams.
He was not, but he was really, really good. And I just put it out there. He was really good. Great court vision. He was also a tremendous defender. I'll give him credit where credit is where he deserves it. But there was no point in Rajon Rondo's career where he was the best point guard in the NBA. And so when we talk about the great point guards, usually when we talk about them, they have a time in their careers, Brett, where they were clearly the best point guard. Rondo is not in that category. He just isn't. He's very good. He's in the category like right below that. That's just what it is. Incredible court vision. By the way, though, part of him having great court vision is he was looking to pass like all the time. Like he wasn't, you know what I mean? Like if you're one of those guys that's hunting assists, the same way people say Russell Westbrook hunted triple doubles, Rondo hunted assists.
Yeah, no, that's why, like, when I talk about Rondo, I always talk about how a great passer he is, but I always stop short of saying great playmaker, because to me, he wasn't really creating any advantages. He was waiting for somebody else. Like, his main source of assist was incredible transition vision. He could hit passes from any angle, but it was more so just predetermined actions in the offense. Like, I can perfectly time this Ray Allen pin down pass, or let's give it to KG on this roll, which, by the way, his timing on all of this was impeccable.
No doubt.
No love lost for, I love Rondo, but let's just stop throwing him in conversations that he shouldn't be in. I get it. He has 2 rings. Rings do not automatically make you a better player than someone else.
Somebody said that. It made me think of a deeper conversation because they were saying Chris Paul was overrated because, what has Chris Paul ever won? And I was like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. The fact is, there are some all-time great players. I'm talking about some of the best that never won a title. It happens. It's not easy to win titles. It really isn't. It has a lot to do with not just who you play with and how good you are, but who you go up against. When people go, well, all Karl Malone and John Stockton did Mo is come up short. I was like, they lost to Michael Jordan twice. A lot of people lost to Michael Jordan, but you can't. It's not like they choked. They lost to Michael Jordan in the finals. It's not like they got blown out. They lost in 6 games, and either one of those finals, Brett, could have easily gone 7 games.
It's always funny when people just try to blame an entire series right away on just blame the star, blame the coach. Like it doesn't work like that. Is the problem? Funny? Like there's so many moving parts to an individual series.
And Jerry Sloan is one of the great coaches in the NBA history, but Jerry Sloan never won an NBA title. But I view Jerry Sloan as a great coach.
Right, exactly, and you can look at individual series, and the best player can be on the losing side.
Facts.
The most obvious example is Jerry West winning a Finals MVP, even though his team lost. But I'll give you a couple different series. The 2022 Eastern Conference semifinals, Bucks Celtics. You can't convince me that Giannis wasn't the best player on the court, even though the Celtics won that series in 7. Or the 2009 Celtics Heat. Dwayne Wade was the best player on that court. The problem just obviously was everybody else around Dwayne Wade wasn't kind of helping him out.
Oh, I agree.
Here comes a Mo. Oh no. Oh, Mo. Oh, wow. Are we getting a Mo Wagner legacy game?
Well, apparently Mo Wagner listens to us as well. I love it. We're having this impact on people.
Oh my goodness, LeBron answer? Oh. No.
Mo Wagner's putting together a highlight reel in this one game.
Oh, LeBron with the answer?
You gotta love it.
This is peak hoops. I love it.
Ooh.
Nah, go. Say. Oh, Suggs is gonna raise up. See, I don't like that. To me. Oh, good ball movement. Swinging it back to D'Lo. Great look at a 3. Rims out. To me, right there, Wagner had D'Lo on him. I would have went down low to Wagner.
Yes. It's the little things that you wish that young teams would show the patience in having. As soon as he realized he got matched up with D'Lo, he could have ran right into the post and demanded basketball.
That's almost where I feel like when people complain about the 3-point revolution, for example, it's those moments where I'm like, all right, now we need to bring back the post up because, oh, what a jam by LeBron!
Look at Mo Wagner. But LeBron's dunk just as impressive.
Oh, it looks like we're gonna. Looks like we're gonna get a Hail Mary to end this Thursday night football game. Here we go. Good rebound by Mo. Here comes Suggs. Suggs off the screen. Oh, good hit. Magic go up 1. If anybody listening loves football, currently your Thursday night football, the Browns are up 24-19 with 11 seconds left. The Steelers have the ball on the Cleveland 44.
Wait a minute. The Browns are up?
Yeah. I will say, shout out to Gene. Gene predicted that the Browns would win today.
The Browns scored 24 points.
Yeah,
Who's the quarterback? Is it Jameis again, or is it somebody else?
Jameis. The funny part is he hasn't even thrown for a touchdown.
But he hasn't. I'm assuming he hasn't thrown no picks either.
Oh, he threw one.
No, he did well. Still, if they're up 24 and he's thrown one, I have to assume that means Russ thrown at least one or two.
Russ has thrown none. He's thrown one touchdown to no interceptions. Nick Chubb has run for 2 touchdowns. Jameis ran in a touchdown.
Jameis? I haven't seen Jameis run since college.
The funny part is, this is one of those games. If you're just looking at the box score, Mo, you would assume that the Steelers are running away with this one. They have 10 more minutes in time of possession, 359 yards to 304, 248 passing yards to 219. They're winning every single metric except turnovers and penalties and are losing this game.
So they've had a lot of fumbles, or a couple fumbles.
No, the Steelers only turned the ball over once. Apparently the Browns have had 3 turnovers.
And they still winning?
Yeah.
Wow. The Steelers have nothing to blame but themselves.
Yeah. No, it seems like a lot of self-inflicted wounds this game. It's coming down to one play, though. 24-19, 3 seconds left.
Yeah, Chris, we talked about this on the morning show, that this could be a trap game. There were a couple of games that could be trap games, but we thought the Steelers knew it would be a trap game and they would be ready. And I thought for sure, and no disrespect to Jameis, I thought, Jameis, you could book him for at least 2 turnovers.
Yeah, no, they put a couple seconds. So it's 6 seconds left now. They put 5 seconds back on the clock.
Well, shout out to the Browns for sucking it up and competing in a tough year for them. Good for them.
No, absolutely. Oh my gosh. It said shout out the NFL genius for making this call.
Yeah.
If they do hold on.
Great. And by the way, I feel like it's a weird thing with certain players. But the Steelers lose tonight, and for whatever reason, the story is going to be Russ didn't do enough, right? I just feel like Russ is one of those kind of guys. When they win, they say, well, they won and Russ was okay. And when they lose, they go, oh, Russ is not good. I don't know. Should we go back to the young guy? Like, I just feel like Russ is in one of those can't win if he does or doesn't kind of situations in Pittsburgh. Like, I think it's great the turnaround and how well they've played up until tonight, obviously, but it just puts more pressure on when they play next Sunday.
Yeah. This LeBron misses a 3 out of bounds magic. All right, here we go. Looks like. Oh, here we go. Suggs letting it rip. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Here comes Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs pick and pop.
Oh, Candace Parker sighting, the Hall of Famer.
I don't know how to feel like about Jalen Suggs trying to play like he's JJ Redick.
Yeah, he's taking some bad shots. I can tell you that. I like Jalen Suggs when he's playing in rhythm. He seems to be forcing shots up right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what's throwing me off so far. I don't know why I find like Mo Wagner's pump fake so amusing. It just looks so awkward.
But you called it. It's very slow. Very slow.
And yep, there it is. The Browns have knocked off the Steelers 24-19. That's what throws me off about the pump fake. It's just it's almost like he's moving in slow motion.
It looks like it.
That's wild. Yeah, no. Like I said, shout out to Gene for making that prediction. He was the only one that predicted a Browns victory. I almost got the score right. I predicted the Steelers win a 23-20 game.
And all of a sudden the division, like that division is still very much wide open.
Yeah, I'm a little anxious about the Man, I'm hoping the Packers pull it out on Sunday. Like, I know we're actually in a really good spot right now when it comes to the division and everything. And more so, we're in a really good spot for the wild card, but man, the NFC is tight this year.
It is. It is. It's a logjam. Because I thought at one point Atlanta was going to run away with their division, but Atlanta has fallen back to the pack. I feel like the Lakers should be blowing the Magic out, and they're letting these young dudes hang around.
It feels like right now with the Lakers, it's just they're just leaving shots short like LeBron just did, and a lot of just foul, like unnecessary turnovers.
And I should point out, because this is consistent with what they've done this season, they can be very inconsistent defensively as well too.
Good. Like these shots, like that one by Reeves that just rolled out. They're like right there, but they just can't figure it out right now. Ooh.
Where the Lakers are very bad at is in transition defense. They're amongst the worst.
Oh, Mo Wagner was not happy that he didn't get a call right there. Oh, good block. They call the foul on. Oh. No, like if there was no scoreboard up, I would assume that the Lakers were winning. Just honestly, the biggest thing in this game so far with the Magic that's throwing me off is Suggs just trying to be prime Klay Thompson out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, I'm a Suggs fan. He doesn't have to do that. When Suggs is playing in rhythm, he's an effective scorer, but he didn't have to force up shots.
Well, if I know LeBron, this is probably a post fade. Oh, no. Just go. Oh, good strong take. Love it. Thought LeBron was going to go to the fade there. Some other scores from around the league. Obviously, the Toronto Raptors knocked off the Timberwolves 110-105. San Antonio Spurs have defeated the Utah Jazz 126-118. And the Hornets beat the Pistons 123-121.
We were just talking about those two young teams, the Hornets and the Pistons. Like I think they've both done their fan bases proud because they've played themselves into respectability versus what they did all of last year. You can see both of these young teams like right on the verge of making that leap into where they can be literal playoff contention.
No, absolutely. What a sequence. Mo misses the dunk, but then LeBron just throws a bad pass.
Yeah.
Right there. That's what the Lakers got to stop. Lazy entry passes. This is making my blood boil, and I'm not even a Lakers fan.
Well, Mo misses the dunk, then he was out of the picture. Then he benefits by getting the layup for not getting back.
Yeah, and that's just Franz just tees one up. No, that's what's driving me crazy about this Lakers offense right now. Like, if you throw that, okay, good. There we go. Wait for him to get positioned, then throw the entry pass. There we go. But it's not even just like the young guys that are making bad decisions right now. I think good cut. Love that cut by Connect. Let's say I think Davis has a handful of turnovers already. LeBron just had a really bad turnover. Like, once they start taking care of this basketball, this game probably, I'm going to say, gets out of hand pretty quickly in their favor.
I mean, but haven't you also noticed that suddenly the game started off with them going to Anthony Davis, which is smart. They haven't done that much at all. Like, Anthony Davis has spent very little time in the post in the second quarter.
Yeah, I don't get that. Yeah, we have 5 combined turnovers already between LeBron and AD. All right, just go. No, don't look to pass. Just don't look to pass. Look to attack. There we go. You know, just make me an NBA coach already.
I think you can do it.
I would love to be a coach.
I think I would prefer to be an assistant coach.
Oh, Franz just lets it rip. That's off.
Because then you could work with different groups. Maybe you get to work with the bigs, or you can work with the point guards. I think I would prefer that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I think. Oh, there we go. See, clean look for Suggs goes down. Good hit. See, I'm a very competitive guy when it comes to sports, so I feel like I'd have to almost jump like. I feel like I'd have to go like right to. I'd almost want to be like a high schooler, like probably like a college coach right away. I feel like player development would be a ton of fun, just regardless of what level. But I really like winning, so I feel like might be a little too competitive for like.
No, winning is a good thing. I think in college I would like to recruit. I would enjoy that.
That honestly seems like the most fun part, like developing players and just scouting them out.
Right. Developing relationships with them, the whole nine, their families, all of that. I think even though it's a lot harder to recruit in this day and age with NIL, I think I would enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice hit. AD, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
More of that.
So 52-51, AD will be shooting a free throw once we get out of this timeout here. My only regret so far for my because when I made my top 30 players list coming into the year, I thought it was pretty good. My biggest regret is not being more aggressive with LaMelo Ball so far. He's been playing on fire.
He has. I watch players like LaMelo. They're entertaining, fun to watch. No denying his talent. But I'm wondering, because he takes so many shots, like he's got to take 20 shots a game, maybe 21 shots a game. He is a volume scorer. But he does shoot. He shoots a pretty good percentage too. But he is a volume scorer. Like I know he's listed as a point guard. I don't feel like he plays like a point guard.
No, he does not. He's definitely more of the volume shooter mold.
And I'm not opposed to that because they've had some success with him in that role. And again, he's a good example. You almost forget LaMelo's 6'7". You could slide him over to the 2 spot very easily, and let somebody else run the point from time to time. That's kind of the versatility that he gives you.
Oh, absolutely.
I enjoy the kid in Detroit, Brett. I love everything about Cade Cunningham's game.
I remember before the year saying, I love Cade, and I think he could be good. But I was so high on Jaden Ivey, said Jaden Ivey might just be the equal of Cade Cunningham.
I think Jaden Ivey is more explosive, but I feel like Cade Cunningham is more polished, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can almost book 22 to 25 points and 7 or 8 assists with Cade Cunningham. Jaden Ivey's going to have a 14-point game. Then he might turn around and give you a 31-point game. What he's probably doing right now at this stage in his career, he's just got to hone it, and it's about just being more consistent from night to night. Look, once he can be consistent, I think Jaden Ivey makes the leap from just being a star to maybe an all-star caliber player.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Overall, I think obviously a coach that looks like he wants to be there is a big step in the right direction for the Pistons, but
It makes all the difference.
just having NBA level floor spacing, absolutely huge. Like that floor spacing they had last year was just abysmal.
Well, now it's like night and day. And like you said, a coach that's squarely invested in that core and developing these young talents. Don't forget about Jalen Duren. I thought bringing in veterans like a Tobias Harris and then Tim Hardaway Jr. was pretty smart. Malik Beasley. I think when you bring in some veterans, it does help. It helps the young guys. It helps the young guys on the floor as well as in the locker room. I like what Detroit has done this season. I like what the Hornets have done this season. This has been a really unique NBA season because in a year where a lot of people thought there were going to be major changes, teams like Cleveland, all Cleveland did was they went for continuity. They didn't make any changes. They brought their core back.
Mm-hmm.
They brought their core back, and the only thing that changed was they told Darius Garland, we need you to have a bigger role in the offense. And outside of the game the other night versus the Celtics, Darius Garland has played all-star caliber basketball. He's been outstanding.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I hated facing him when we had to match up with them back to back. Him and Don, pretty much scoring guards are the bane of our existence right now in Milwaukee, which
Ours
is why
too.
AJ Green has been such a godsend. That's why I made the joke in the one Discord I'm in. I'm like, because they posted Halliburton slow start. I'm like, don't worry, he'll boost that shooting percentage up by at least 4 points when they play us tomorrow. 30-20 game coming for Hallie out of nowhere.
I thought AJ Green did a really good job versus Zach LaVine last night.
He did. He killed it. Zach LaVine had a 25 going into the third, and we switched AJ Green onto him, and he had 2 points the rest of the way.
And do you know why? Because one thing about Zach LaVine is he does not like being touched. And AJ Green, I don't have to tell you this. You're a Bucks fan. I know he's a guard, but that dude is ripped.
Mm-hmm.
like he looks like he could be a bouncer at a club. Like he put his hands on Zach LaVine, and Zach LaVine tried to move him. There's no budge.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that with AJ Green, I think that catches a lot of people off guard, just how built he is. Like, he looks so like skinny at times and almost like frail, but once you see guys try to actually move him in an NBA game, he does not move very easily.
He does not move. He is a brick wall.
Jonathan,
isn't that your guy? You love Jonathan Isaac.
Jonathan Isaac, I think if he could figure out, offense consistently and, be on the court for 25, 30 minutes, he'd win multiple DPOIs.
And I feel like instead of trying to do a whole bunch of different things offensively, if he just went old school and worked on being efficient at the corner three, you know what I mean? Like, he can Bruce Bowen it. Like, I know for sure when I get to the corner threes, you can book them, and then he can stay on the floor more because I'm with you. If he could be an offensive threat consistently, if he didn't win DPOY, for sure he'd make all NBA defense multiple years in a row.
Oh, absolutely. There we go. See, that's what I like to see from him. You got to figure out the touch, but use your physicality on smaller guys too and get yourself to the rim. That it was so funny how Bruce Bowen could it's so funny. He's just such a funny, he wasn't the greatest shooter from everywhere else, but if you parked him in the corner, he was knocked down.
Yeah, but I give him credit for that. He mastered one thing that could keep him on the floor. Because if Bruce Bowen couldn't make corner threes, then sometimes he could be he could hurt you because teams could double off of Timmy. So I love it that he mastered those corner threes.
Oh my gosh. The most painful part about this game so far is watching Goga Blitzdage at center for the Magic. That he has the mobility of a redwood.
Watching him takes me back to a guy that I'm pretty sure you didn't see him play, but I'm sure you heard the name before. He moves a lot like George Murison.
Oh yeah, the 7'9" center for the Washington Bullets.
That's the one. He moves a lot like he shuffles. He doesn't really out and out runs. He kind of shuffles.
I know all about Murison. In the past couple of years in NBA 2K, they started releasing Murison cards for the My Team game mode.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's the worst thing ever because he's 7'9",
right?
So you can't contest his shot, and all you really end up doing is you're just mercilessly watch as you get posted up, and there's nothing you can do to stop it unless you just happen to have a Murison card yourself.
Right. And he had this really weird little push jump shot. It looked like something you could easily swat away, but you forget that he's 7'9" doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Wizards, they were one of those franchises that they were really bad, so they were always going for some kind of like I guess attention grabbing move. Because remember, they had Mirasan, they also had the late Manute Bol, another guy who was I think the Manute Bol was 7'7". Um, they were a really odd franchise too. Think about this. At one point, the Wizards had Jawan Howard, Chris Webber, and Rasheed Wallace.
Is it weird for me to say that Manute Bol just like might be like one of the worst rebounders I've ever seen? Like watching old highlights of him, like the man averaged like what 7 rebounds at 7'7". Like I feel like, especially in the era where the spacing was just non-existent and everything was near the rim, I feel like he should have woken up with 10 rebounds.
So a lot of people say that. What I would say is you got to go back. One, remember the era he played in. Two, remember Manute Bol was 7'7", but he was skinnier than Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you ain't got no body, you ain't got no body. I'm just saying, like he was long, but he wasn't a big man. Like dudes was moving him out. Like think about, I think Charles Barkley at 6'4", snatch a rebound, go up and dunk over Manute Bol. I'm just saying.
No, that's fair. He was one of the. He was very intriguing to me because everybody always like will say of every. Oh, you're 7 foot tall. You should just be good at grabbing boards like that.
And I bet he got sick of that, right? Because it's a default setting. You look at somebody that's 7'7", you go, you must just be blocking everybody's shot. And he did. I think he had 1 year, Brett, where he averaged like just under 6 blocks per game, but he got dunked on a ton.
I know one guy who always gets criticized. Oh, great ball movement. Corner 3 is good. Love that. Good hit by Reddish. Want to inbound the ball? Okay, well. Yeah, no, I know one guy that always gets criticized for his rebounding is my guy in Milwaukee there, Brook Lopez. I know a lot of people bash him for rebounding, but I always have to explain to him, I'm like, dude, Brook Lopez's value isn't the actual rebound. He's willing to put a body on the other team's best rebounder, and boom, there's the value of Brook Lopez.
I tried to explain that to somebody once. I was like, what he's doing is blocking out the other guy. So Giannis comes in and cleans up, right?
Yeah.
But everybody doesn't see that. If you like another guy that you could look at and go, well, he should be a better rebounder than what he is, and he's not doing that, is a guy we're both fans of, Jaren Jackson Jr. As talented as Jaren Jackson Jr. is, how's he only averaging 5 rebounds a game? You a power forward, bro. Like you have to be more impactful on the boards than your point guard. 5 rebounds a game? Come on, man.
That's why when people are like, why did they draft Zach Edey? I'm like, have you seen Jaren Jackson rebound? That's why they drafted Zach Edey.
Right.
Like, we just watched almost like a full year of Jaren Jackson as the small ball center. And unless they're playing the Bucks, they just got absolutely demolished every time because they couldn't grab a rebound.
Yeah, that's facts. I'm a big Jaren Jackson Jr. fan. But that's one aspect of his game that he's got to be much better at. Like, I'm not saying he got to average 15 rebounds a game, but at least 8 or 9, at least.
No, I absolutely, completely agree with that. That's why I love putting him back at power forward. Hopefully that that helps him out a bit. But yeah, he's just got to be better at grabbing those boards. Speaking
of Memphis, I think I watched them. Who they beat last night? It was the Sixers. It was Embiid. Embiid had his best statistical game of the year, but they still lost. And of course, Paul George got hurt. But the thing about Memphis is I don't know what they're going to look like because they've yet to be completely whole. When Bane is in, Moran is out. When Bane is out, Moran is in. They've yet to have everybody together. Or Marcus Smart is hurt, or I want to see Memphis at 100% because I think at 100%. They're a top 4 seed in the West.
No, absolutely. And I think a big piece of that, too, the emergence of guys like, shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr.
He's played great. And I'm glad you brought up that name because he's the reason why, Brett, I think that Marcus Smart could potentially get traded. I think Scottie Pippen Jr. has earned that playing time, and he has a quickness and a burst in him that Marcus Smart doesn't. I think Marcus Smart might get moved because Scottie Pippen Jr. has played so great.
No, yeah, for sure. I think it'll continue. It's not like he's doing anything that's like completely unsustainable, and that's the best part about the entire thing is I could easily see, Pippen continuing to contribute like he is now all the way into the playoffs.
I'm happy for him. He's earned him. He's found a lane for him in the league as a on-the-ball defender. He's also a shot creator. He's also got some chemistry with Zach Edey. Love it. By the way, another young man we should shout out. Shout out to Dyson Daniels for the way he's been playing for the Atlanta Hawks. That young man has been balling.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Dyson Daniels has been killing it.
Yeah, no, I got curious on something. So I wanted to look up how good the Milwaukee Bucks were with AJ Green on and off the court. We're beating teams by 7 points with him on the court, but we're losing to teams by 6 points when he's off the court.
All right, so what we're saying is we need to make AJ Green a starter.
Yeah, even when Chris comes back healthy, I need AJ Green still in there.
I'm not so sure that Chris, who I'm a big fan of, shouldn't be the sixth man.
I'd say, and yeah, even Andre Jackson, we're almost 9 points better when Andre Jackson's in, and we're almost 7 points worse when he's off. Chris, I could see him starting out as a sixth man, and honestly, maybe if he, is comfortable in that role, then I could see it. The latest.
No, go ahead.
I'll say the latest update we got from Chris is he's cleared. He's just trying to work himself back into game shape. Gotcha. So, if we needed him tomorrow, he could play tomorrow. But he's not in a condition yet. He's not in the shape that he wants to be. From what I've heard, that he just wants to make sure that there's just no setbacks this time, unlike last year. So he's just taking his time and wants to come back when he's 100% sure that there will be no setbacks.
No, I'm on board with that 100%. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Chris Middleton. And look, I think bringing him off the bench in a six-man role for maybe the first 25 games or so that he's back would be smart. It would let him get his legs under him. And then eventually, once he's in game shape, I'm sure he's going to be part of your closing lineup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a big thing about this winning streak too is Pat Connaughton hasn't played in 2 games, and we've won both of them.
How come I knew you were going to bring that up?
I had to. I genuinely had to. I love what Pat Connaughton did for us in 2021, except it's not 2021 is the problem.
You know what? I want to give a shout out to a team that I did not think would be very competitive this year, but they've actually been pretty solid. The LA Clippers. The LA Clippers are actually one of the better defensive teams in the NBA, and they're getting it done. They're a tough team. I think the Clippers are going to be in the hunt for the playoffs throughout the season. What they're doing is very sustainable, and Harden is doing what I thought Harden would do. Harden is going to give you 20 points, about 10 assists, 8 rebounds. You're getting 24 points from that's on the top of the 6 man. Norman Powell's giving you 24 points. Big Z is having a career year. You've got Nick Batum, Kevin Porter Jr. They're a very interesting team. Amir Coffey's playing well for them. The Clippers have been surprising. And it's a huge if they can get a healthy Kawhi Leonard for the second half of the season, the Clippers could be fun. They could be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, this is a team that's already just kind of elite defensively. Add somebody like Kawhi in there and his two-way brilliance. That'd be terrific.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe they should think about doing Kawhi the same way as the Bucks are going to do Middleton is we're not going to rush you right back into the starting lineup. Maybe start you off coming off the bench at first so you get your legs under you. I know if I'm Clippers management, I'm playing it as smart as I can.
I am too. At the end of the day, you never know when it comes to Kawhi Leonard. he'll look healthy, and then it'll just all completely kind of fall apart at some point. The reports about him and the Clippers kind of rushing him back to play like last year were just completely wild. Because apparently he wasn't ready to play last year, but they kind of forced him, and they like promised him they'd do a minutes restriction, but then they kept ramping up the minutes, and eventually his knee just kind of gave out. It's just so unfortunate. I think Kawhi Leonard's one of the great. It's weird to say that somebody with multiple Finals MVPs is a big what if, but like he's almost becoming like a what if because he's at this point missed out on most of his prime with an injury.
No doubt.
And we've seen how good he is, pre-injury, and even while battling injuries, he's still just insanely good.
But I think that's why he's a big what if. I think you bring up a good point because we're not arguing over whether or not he's a great player. We're arguing over how good he would be compared to other great players, right? That's why it's a what if. That's why when the guy did the take the other day that I sent you, and he's like talking about all the guys that are better than Durant, I didn't think it was crazy to bring up Kawhi. I just said I didn't agree. I didn't think it was crazy when he said Steph. He said a bunch of names that didn't make sense to me, but there were some in there that made sense. And like I said, I give him credit. It was a strong take. I don't agree with it, but it was a strong take.
Yeah, I think once he got to the back half is kind of where I started going, like, I'm trying to remember the names off the top of my head. I remember it was Steph, Jokic, Wade. I remember looking at Wade like,
that was it. He said Wade, and I'm a big D Wade fan. I think you're a big D Wade fan. I don't think I could put D Wade over Kevin Durant.
That was my first thought too, and I'm like, I love Wade, but I don't think so.
And the guy, and he was making that case, and I was like, dude, you do remember when the Heat won their first title against that super young Thunder team, Durant was amazing in that series. They just lost the series, but it wasn't like he had a bad series. Nobody could guard it. Nobody.
No, absolutely.
I love Dwayne Wade, but he's certainly more dynamic in terms of how explosive he can be. But better than Kevin Durant, I'm going to disagree with that one. There were some other ones that made you scratch your head too, but why can't I remember all these names? Because there were some like he said Giannis, and I was like, Giannis was easy to me though. Giannis was their games are completely different, but I'm going to put Giannis over Kevin Durant.
What drove me insane about that once again was, the argument against Giannis. Everybody knows it. It was, but KD has a deeper bag, and I just straight up said, I was like, but if I can generate like the highest quality looks on command, why wouldn't I just do that?
Right, because that here's the thing, and this is what frustrates me about some basketball fans. They don't do that to Shaq. They don't say, well, Patrick Ewing or Olajuwon have bigger bags, because they did. They point out the obvious. The 2 or 3 things Shaq did great offensively, nobody could stop. What I would say is, yes, KD's got a bigger bag. But by the way, you could argue that KD could have his bag might be as big as Michael Jordan's or Kobe Bryant's or LeBron's. Would we take Kobe? Would we take him over those guys? I wouldn't.
No.
and I love KD, but I'm not taking him over none of them. Your bigger bag versus my impact. LeBron has a bigger impact. Jordan has a bigger impact. Kobe has a bigger impact. I think just saying having a bigger bag it's a lazy argument, because if you just go off of that, if that's the argument, then how come we're not saying Kyrie's the GOAT? Because Kyrie might have the biggest bag of all time, but we don't even think Kyrie's the GOAT of his own position, let alone one of the GOATs. Kyrie's a great player. Gonna walk into the Hall of Fame. He's gonna be in that 5-star hotel with other great players. He's not gonna be in the penthouse with those 10 even greater players. He's not one of those. And I would argue he might have the greatest bag of anybody that ever played. So just having a great bag by default doesn't make you a better player.
Right? Like there's so many different like intangibles too, like leadership, how well. Like unfortunately with Kyrie, like yeah, there's the big shot in 2016, and everybody's always going to remember that, but also like he did play in Boston and Brooklyn.
Played in Boston as the number one option, as the main guy. That didn't go so well.
That's it. They did better without him.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I do love Kyrie, but
I do too. But the reality is what he was when you're talking about winning titles is he was a number 2. Had Dallas somehow won and beaten the Celtics in an epic series, Kyrie would have been the number 2 on that team. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just what it is. But I hate when you just go, well, when you look at his bag versus his bag, yeah, bigger bag. Anthony Davis has a bigger bag than some of the greatest players that ever played. I'm not choosing Anthony Davis over them. I think Anthony Davis has a bigger offensive bag than Hakeem Olajuwon. I don't think he's better than Hakeem Olajuwon.
It's funny because I use Anthony Davis for this argument all the time. Because I'm like, okay, but Anthony Davis has a bigger bag than Giannis, and I'll take Giannis over Anthony Davis.
I've made that argument too, and I'm a Laker fan. I'm not killing AD because I admire him. I know how talented he is. Right. He is more polished. He is more skilled than Giannis. And if it was a skills competition, he's going to win. But when you put the two of them on the floor with 8 other basketball players, 9 times out of 10, Giannis is the better player.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that, say Giannis is playing very angry lately, and I love to see it. As soon as like we hit that like stretch where we were like 2-8 and everybody was freaking out, and you could just see like it's almost like that's when the flip switched for Giannis, and he was just mad at that point. At that point, it was almost like I'm not going to allow you to lose anymore. So
right, but I respect that. This is what a great player does when his team is struggling. He says, oh, this is going to be one of those years where I'm going to need to average, instead of 30 points a game, I'm going to have to take it up a notch to like 33 or 34 points a game. Yeah, it might be that kind of year, Giannis. It might be that kind of year. But it must be nice to be able to be that great to go, okay, I'll just take it up 4 more points, 3 more rebounds, a couple of more assists, maybe I'll add another block a game. I'll just take it up a notch.
Oh, Gary Harris sizing up a 3. A lot of these threes that the Magic are taking are really contested right now.
The problem with the Magic is when you look at their roster, they have a lot of willing 3-point shooters. They don't have what I would call a lot of pure 3-point shooters.
Oh, LeBron laced that one.
Like who's the guy on the Magic that you call pure shooter? They don't have a pure shooter.
No, ironically, the closest thing they probably had to that or have to that is KCP.
Right, and he's struggled all year, right. They need a shooter. They need one guy that maybe he's not as good at other things, but if he's left open, automatic.
Tristan De La Silva knocks it down. And it's funny, you would think like somebody like that would be kind of in a shooter's league. You'd think that'd be an easier find nowadays, but they haven't been able to put that one together.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Lakers get a little sloppy there. It's a turnover. Oh, Silva. Oh, good block. What a block by James. I do love Orlando though. They clearly have a type, and they continue to just get that same type. It does lead to a problem for a bit in redundancy at some point, but
you do bring up a good point. So they seem to draft or trade for guys that have a little bit more of an underdog dog mentality, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good thing. But the downside is you can have all the dogging you want in the world, at some point you're still going to need some guys that have actual talent, right? Like Palo's special. He's special. I think if you go after and keep getting the same guys, like you said, redundancy becomes the case, right? Like Gary Harris, KCP, and Jalen Suggs are very similar. Their skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Jonathan Isaacs and I'm like, maybe it's just because of the way they use him, but on another team, he can have a bigger role.
Yeah, no, he just tends to like deal with the injuries quite a bit, so maybe they're just kind of nervous to give him bigger minutes. But when I say I think he has DPOI potential, like that man is just an absolutely insane defender. If he can figure out consistent offense, he could be an insane like. I don't think he'll ever be an all-star, but I do think that he could be like the highest tier of rotational player before you hit all-star.
If I'm a GM, I'll take that.
Tristan De La Silva for 3. Good hit. Yeah, Orlando just doesn't seem they'll touch you. Doesn't seem they want you unless you play both sides of the ball, which I respect.
I do, and I do like that. But I need you to be special on at least one side of the ball, right? Like being good defensively is one thing, but in the playoffs, when the floor shrinks and it's about shot making, it'd be nice to have some guys that you can book for 20 a night, other than Paolo and Franz.
When they started talking about, when we started firing up the Luka trade machine last year when they were through their rough period, one of the first things I said was, let's send Luka to Orlando. They could use a shot maker like Luka. And now I don't think that would ever happen. I don't think Luka would actually go play in Orlando. But honestly, that could have been onto something back then.
Well, it probably will never happen. But if it did, they would have 4 other guys that play defense so well you could cover Luka up on a whole nother level. And what he does offensively as a shot maker and a shot creator would open up doors for everybody, because I think Luka would make Paolo even better.
No, absolutely. Honestly, I think Silva lost it. Oh, and the Lakers are running. Well, you were 100% right. Dalton Connect does not look to pass ever, does he?
No, he's on the floor for one reason only. I honestly, I know people talk about passing, and he is a shooter. He's a scorer. I have no problem if Dalton Connect is aggressive every time he has the ball in his hands.
Yeah, absolutely. That just threw me off because I'm like, oh, he's going to kick this to the corner, and I'm like, oh, or he's going to take this up into double coverage. Now you want somebody like that just to keep the defense honest.
And I think he won't say it, but I think LeBron loves that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he loves a player who doesn't, even though he knows LeBron's the guy, I think LeBron loves guys that aren't quick to defer.
I'm just imagining, like, if the Magic did get Luka, that would almost push Franz Wagner into, like, a third option. Franz Wagner sounds magnificent.
I was getting ready to say, if Franz is your third option, you're a title contender.
Oh, absolutely. As Austin Reeves puts one up, Goga clears off the miss. Here comes Suggs.
And I don't even know if he'd be the third option, because I would argue that between Luka and Paolo, it's like 1 and 1A.
Yeah, Jalen Suggs just laced that. He's laughing. Okay. No, I agree. What the fuck was that?
Let me ask you this. You've heard this crazy talk as Suggs. I mean, it's 73-77, good game, entertaining game. Who had a greater career as a member of the Orlando Magic, Shaquille O'Neal or Dwight Howard?
I think the answer to that is I want to say Dwight Howard.
I think it is Dwight Howard.
I think it's pretty close. I think because Shaq won an MVP in Orlando, right?
Nope, just the one with the Lakers.
No, oh right, I forgot he didn't win one with Orlando. Yeah, they both made a finals run, but Dwight, locked up those 3 DPOYs on Orlando. Yeah,
Right.
I would say he had the greater Orlando career.
Yeah, and to not to confuse anybody that's listening to us right now, this isn't about anybody saying that Dwight Howard was as good as Chicago. I'm not saying that. I fully know that coming into the league as a rookie, Shaq was dropping 27, 28 points a game. Dwight at his best was never going to score that much offensively. I'm talking about Dwight Howard's impact on the franchise when he was at his peak. It was every bit as good as Shaq's, is what I'm saying. And obviously, I think Dwight was an 8-time All-Star, 3 DPOYs, 4 or 5-time All-NBA.
Yeah, with you know what's funny? When it comes to Dwight Howard, I do like Dwight, but that man needs to chill out. And the reason I say that is because I caught him on a podcast again. He was asked, "Could you slow down? Could you slow down Jokic right now?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, I don't see why not." I'm like, I can tell you why not. You haven't touched an NBA court in 3 years, Dwight.
If Dwight could stop Jokic, he wouldn't have had to play in the Philippines or wherever he went. Like eventually the NBA gave up on Dwight Howard. No version of Dwight Howard right now could guard Jokic. He could come in and get 5 fouls real quick. That could happen, but he's not going to stop Jokic.
Like, I think, I even think that prime D12 would struggle with Jokic. I think he would have some great moments, and obviously he would still make, Jokic work. But Jokic is almost like a matchup, it's kind of a nightmare for, D12.
Like, I think Jokic would. I think he would have Dwight Howard falling for all kind of pump fakes. Prime D12 when he was really going after it, he was a sucker for a pump fake.
And that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, that man would fall for all sorts of fakes. Plus, with Jokic, we all know you have to worry about the passing. So, like, he has so many tricks to keep off balance. I have no doubt that D12 would make him work for it. But I also think that just sounds like an absolute matchup nightmare. Just like how on the other end, Dwight Howard would probably 40 bomb him without putting too much thought into it.
Maybe he would. I think the thing about a guy like Jokic is he's so dominant offensively that his offense is almost like his defense. Because if Jokic is doing his thing, then more than likely, if you're the guy guarding him, you're probably in foul trouble.
That's true. Like, offensively speaking, him going Dwight going downhill to the rim, there's not much Jokic could do about that. But yeah, if he's just gassing him on the defensive end, then that kind of neutralizes some of that.
Right. Because a lot of what Dwight was predicated on his freakish athleticism, right?
Yeah.
I think Joker neutralizes that by just his style of play.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. And it looks like that Jalen Suggs going to the line.
Maybe a tougher matchup for Jokic. I'm not saying he wouldn't hold his own, but a tougher matchup would be him having a matchup with a prime Shaq. Not because I think Shaq could guard him, because Shaq's not nearly the defender that D12 is, but I think that Shaq is very, very similar in that his best defense is his offense.
I think that they would both 60-piece each other.
Probably.
Like, Jokic is not, like, Shaq is not coming out to guard Jokic.
Right.
But Jokic is also not doing anything when Shaq starts to throw his shoulder into him.
Which he will.
That is the most fun matchup. And it's funny because I think people seem to forget about that, because I've had that conversation before, and it's always the same thing. It's LeBron with the 3, and that's off. It's always Shaq's going to do work on Jokic. Jokic doesn't play defense, and I'm like, how good of a defender do you really remember Shaq being? Because if he wasn't like loaded up, ready to contest at the rim, he wasn't necessarily the greatest defender as when he hit his peak in LA, just because it was so heavy. He was so big.
Yeah, he was not. He was not. I think the best defensive version of Shaq was actually the Orlando version. The Orlando Shaq was much more agile, quicker, ran the floor better. The Lakers version, he was good at coming from the weak side, but as an actual defender, he wasn't a good defender. And when he played against bigs who had jump shots, you knew automatically Shaq is going to play drop coverage. So that jump shot is always there.
That's why when people try to tell me that, I'm like, dude, Shaq himself said that his toughest matchup was big country Brian Reeves. Like, what do you think happens if we take big country and replace him with Jokic's shooting? It's a nightmare. On the other end, it's a nightmare for Jokic, but that's also like Shaq's worst nightmare too, is to have to guard someone like him.
It's even worse because big country was shooting 12, 15 footers. Jokic just shooting a 3.
And if you let Jokic wander into the mid range, he is an elite mid range shooter too. So he would have to stay glued to him at the 3-point line, and he wouldn't like that at all. Because then, problem doing that to Jokic, it's death by 1,000 cuts at that point. He's just going to start diming up every backdoor cut that happens.
And this is taking nothing away from Shaq. Shaq was dominant. We all know that. It's just that I think you're right. That could be one of those matchups where both of the guys would have insane stat lines.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I love Shaq, but if you never tuned into the And One podcast, we like to acknowledge that all of our superstars also had flaws.
They do.
You got to acknowledge the strengths and the weaknesses. So, good hit by Wagner, and we are tied at 80 with 5 minutes to go.
This is driving me crazy. They're just not going away. And I feel like the Lakers are letting them not go away because offensively, the Lakers are shooting threes when they should literally be going into the post to Anthony Davis every time now.
This is kind of what they're playing a 3. There we go. Okay, that missed. Whatever. Do it again. They're playing a 3-2 zone. Get in the middle of it.
Right. Somebody's got to come to the free throw line. Right there. Right. Somebody's got to come to the free throw line.
And Jalen Suggs puts the Magic up 3. It is 83-80.
Timeout. Get a timeout ready.
I'm shocked that D'Lo didn't rip that one. That seemed like a prime D'Lo shot. Yeah, they're... And, drawing the foul. All right. All right, Reeves drawing the foul. All right, here we go. Wagner wants a challenge. He is hot. Oh, yeah, they're challenging it. I'll say Wagner is hot. One thing I will say I love about this Magic team, they're just all so competitive about...
Yeah, almost to the point where they're a little cocky, right?
Yeah.
They're a little cocky. And I don't mind that at all. They're I wish more teams were this competitive the way they are. Like some teams will take a game off. This Magic team, they come to play every night.
Yeah, absolutely. And no matter who they're missing, they're always ready. You can tell how well coached they are.
I think he's going to win the challenge. I think he's going to win that challenge. That looked like a rip.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. The Emirates Cup, yeah. I
don't like that name, by the way.
Oh, the Emirates Cup?
Yeah, something about that.
I will say, I'm not a fan of the name, but I do love the NBA Cup idea in general. Got a lot of hate.
I love the courts.
Yeah. The Raptors court, they brought back like the old vintage Raptor, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I love that.
I need more teams to bring back the old school creative jerseys. I'm mainly talking about the Detroit Pistons and that like cool '04 logo that they had with the flaming horse.
Yeah, that was dope.
Well, actually, there's that cool Bucks one too, where they had like the mountain and then there was like a deer. Like, I just feel like back in the day, like I feel like I sound like I'm like 50 now saying back in the day, but I feel like back in the day they put so much more effort into jersey designs, and it's kind of unfortunate that they don't.
You know what? I wouldn't mind them bringing back some of them older jerseys. They were nice. They were dope. I've got my own share of them actually that I have up in my closet.
No, yeah.
I've got a classic Sonics one that I've had for the longest time. Man.
See, my goal is I'm gonna get eventually I'm gonna start a jersey collection. Well, I already kind of have one going, but I want to get a jersey of every single Bucks player on the championship teams, and I'm just debating which jersey to get. Because I'll have to get half of them custom made. Because it turns out nobody's selling an Elijah Bryan or Axel Tupain jersey anywhere. So
yeah, I bet.
That's the real challenge.
You know what? Those should be the ones that are worth more because they're so rare.
Right? Like, somebody needs to... Like, I know that... It's funny because I was thinking about starting off with, like, the lesser name guys because I feel like they'd be more unique. Like, I want to be that guy that goes to a summer league and it's like, dude, I saw a Jeff Teague Milwaukee Bucks jersey at summer league.
Jeff Teague.
Jeff Teague is such a phenomenal podcaster. I strive to be as good as Jeff Teague. He's so funny.
I have to tell you that Jeff Teague is a man with 1,005 stories, and they're all great stories.
At this point, I'm convinced he was there for Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game because every single moment in NBA history, it seems like Jeff Teague was there for it.
And he doesn't mind making fun of himself, and that's pretty cool, too.
That's honestly my favorite part about him because you see a lot of the players and they'll just kind of, good take by AD. You know, they'll kind of make sure to put themselves in a good light, but Jeff Teague was kind of just like, nah, I was mediocre and I knew it, and it's really funny. And by the way, Jeff Teague was better than mediocre.
But... Absolutely. He was a really good basketball player. I believe Jeff Teague made an all-star team. Jeff Teague could get on a run. He could get buckets. He was more than mediocre. He is more than average. Jeff Teague was a really good player. So there are all-stars, there are superstars. I think Jeff Teague was a star.
Let's say my luck would be first clip of Jeff Teague sees of the N1 podcast is me calling him mediocre. You are not mediocre, Jeff. I promise.
Right,
I love you.
Right. He catches that one part, and yeah, right. No doubt. But yeah, I don't get to watch it all the time, but every time I do, I come away laughing because of the stories and how entertaining they are.
You know, I praise Jalen Suggs for his offensive game to start the year, and I think he's been great. But, 7 to 16, that's not bad. Like, it's weird. Like, he's shooting a lot better than, like, my eyes are telling me. Like, I feel like he's shooting, like watching the game, it feels like he's shooting, like, 2 of 10. Right. But he's really 5 of 11, which is great.
I just think he's taking some questionable shots this game.
Oh, good. He got fouled, though. He drew the free throws, so he absolutely is. Like, watching him right now, he kind of reminds me of JJ Redick a little bit, the way he's just coming off of screens and just letting it rip without even thinking.
Except he doesn't shoot like Redick.
Tristan De Silva. I will say I was confused with the draft pick for the Orlando when they made it, but he's looked good for them so far. I'll give him all the credit in the world.
He's bigger than I thought he was, too. He's good size.
I will say this might be one of those drafts we look back on and you see quite a few steals. Tristan De Silva, McCain, and Connect McCain going back to back. And even guys like Ryan Dunn in Phoenix has looked great.
Speaking of guys who could be an elite defender, Ryan Dunn.
Oh my goodness, he's looked awesome.
He, in a lot of ways, when I watch Ryan Dunn play defense, he looks a lot like Scotty Barnes.
I remember being mad that we didn't pick him. He was like second on my two names of guys that I wanted. Number one on my draft board for us was Deron Holmes, which he's out with the torn ACL right now, but I think he's going to have a great career. Ryan Dunn was number two. But hey, AJ Johnson made a logo 3 in the G League today, so I'll take what I can get. Oh, and LeBron with see, don't do that. Just let LeBron lay that in. That's a bad foul. I do not like that. Great pass by. Let's see. Yeah, Da Silva's just got to let him go up there. Just your beat.
This has been a pretty good game. Orlando's got no quit in them. And the Lakers are doing just enough to keep it interesting. I keep waiting for the Lakers to go on a big run to separate themselves, and Orlando's not letting it happen.
It feels like that should be coming up. Like, it feels like the Lakers are the better team, but yeah, Orlando's just fighting.
They're scrappy. Like we said, they're relentless. They're cocky. You wouldn't hear what you won't hear after the game is them complaining about, well, if we had Paolo. They don't think like that.
No, they just next man up. Oh, he didn't even hesitate. I love it. All right. You know what? Oh, is he okay? Okay, yeah, he is. Good foul. Good foul by Mo there. Hey, Christian Coloco minutes. Good. Love it. I was saying the Thunder look absolutely terrifying. Naturally, Chet goes out, and then Jalen Williams starts playing out of his mind.
And they got Hartenstein back.
Oh my gosh, Hartenstein! His passing was insane. Like, he had some passes where I'm just like, Magic Johnson, is that you?
Yeah, Hartenstein is going to bring them some physicality, energy, and he's a terrific passer from the post. So, yeah, the scary thing about the Thunder is we've yet to see them on all cylinders, but when they are, like I said, there's no doubt in my mind that if this team is healthy, when it's all said and done, they'll probably be the number 1 seed in the West.
Yeah, like you said, that's the scary part. Like, they're not even healthy, and they're still like demolishing teams.
Yeah,
half the
no
time.
doubt.
So, like, what happened? Like, this, it really feels like we're on a collision. I know it's too early because we still have a whole season of injuries and whatnot. But man, Celtics and Thunder just sounds like what we're on a collision course for.
That would be a 7-game series. That might be an epic series.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. All right. 89-88 Magic over the Lakers right now going into the fourth. I say Kristaps versus Chet would be a lot of fun. We'd have what are some other fun matchups from that one?
I'm guessing Drew Holiday against SGA.
Oh, that would be great.
Jalen Williams versus Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
and of course Lou Dort guarding Jason Tatum. That would be an interesting matchup.
Everybody would assume that would probably be like, because there's a lot of offensive talent there, but that series just might barely crack 100 from both teams. Just because of the amount of insane defenders on both sides, I feel like that series would be so low, so much more low scoring than people would think.
And maybe every game would be a 1-possession game.
Yeah, like I feel like we'd be back to like final scores of like 100-99, just because it would be what team can hit more difficult shots at that point.
And I'd be okay with that, by the way.
Honestly, that feels like the perfect threshold for points. I don't know what it is, but between like 100 and 110, like that feels like the perfect amount of defense being played and offense.
Did this guy win the $60,000? Oh, he's going for the $60,000 check. You're not gonna get it. You got to make this shot. Watch him airball it. He did airball it.
I'll say it.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say as we get into the fourth quarter, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching along with us. Definitely appreciate all of you. Currently at 49 live viewers right now, 50 now. Definitely appreciate every single one of you.
I'm having a blast. I am having an absolute blast. It's been a great game. I just need my Lakers to go on a run and get some separation. Maybe come out of a timeout when we get the ball. Redick run some kind of play, maybe a pin down for Connect.
It almost feels like when your team's in a tight game, you're fine with it for 3 quarters, and now you're just like, okay, is this the part where we pull away now?
Yeah, you get a little anxious. You do.
Yeah, this is that time. This is exactly how I am with the Bucks. First 3 quarters, like, yeah, it's such a great game, and now I'm just like, all right, we can finish them at any time.
That's where I'm at right now.
And Christian, not the matchup I'd attack for you, Koloko. Probably don't go after Isaac one-on-one.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, Wagner with the tough take and one. Or not and one. Good hands there by Isaac. There's not a lot of people that could react that quick. Say, I will be right back, guys. Watch along's gonna keep running, but I gotta let my dog out. I hear Brody barking.
91-88 Magic, 11:26. We just started the fourth. Anthony Black is not trying to let Connect raise up. Smart. D'Lo's gonna take a bad shot. Yeah. Here come the Magic. Suggs up ahead. Yeah, that's travel. Suggs has been. I'm a fan, but he's doing too much this game. He's got to slow down. That's D'Lo playing under control. Big difference. Nice shot. Wide open. That's horrible defense. Mo Wagner's going to make a career highlight of this game. That was a great pass. Oh, smoked the layup. Oh, wow. Suggs is doing too much. He needs to sit Suggs for a minute just so he can get his head right. Jalen Suggs has been forcing his offense all game long. He is doing too much. There's Connect. Nice shot.
All right, 1 point game with 9 minutes to go. I'll take it. Yeah, had 2 birthdays yesterday.
2?
Yeah, my grandfather, he I think he turned 75 or 76.
Congrats.
And Peanut. Peanut
Hey! So you celebrated by getting him like a butcher's bone.
Yeah. I got him nice little bones that said I got one for him that said birthday boy, and then Brody got one that said happy birthday.
That's pretty cool. See, so Brody's like, I get something out of it too.
Oh yeah. Can't spoil one without the other.
Well, trust me, you wouldn't know it because it's very quiet. Matter of fact, maybe I can take my camera and show you. Watch them, then they'll stop being quiet. So just bear with me, everybody. Just real quick, so you can see some of my crew. If I could even get some of them on there. Can you see anybody? That will be Missy. And if I go higher over here, there's some more sleeping over there.
I'll say they're really tired right now.
Yeah, because they run around like banshees all day doing whatever they want, and they don't listen to me at all. So I don't have any say. Trust me.
That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, listen, I don't have any say at my house. Brody's in charge.
I don't know about how it is for you, but for me, the arrangement is we'll listen, Mo, when we feel like it.
Yeah, pretty much. Normally they'll they tolerate me when they want to. I can't bother them. It's funny, they'll wake me up and do whatever, but if I bother them even in the slightest, they give me such a look.
Do they really?
Yeah. Like Peter will have such an attitude for no reason. I'm like, dude, let me love you.
Oh, those Frenchies! Oh my god, those are the most. They're attention whores, man. They're relentless. Like they will fight each other for attention, literally.
Yeah, Peanut and Brody are pretty good. Brody only wants attention for short bursts, and then he's like, okay, I'm done. I want to go do my own thing now.
He's had enough.
Yep.
That's funny.
Well, it looks like oh no, there's Suggs over in the corner.
$95-94. Come on, let's get a stop. Let's get some separation, man.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yep, offensive foul on Isaac. I thought they weren't going to call anything. I'm like, okay, that either needs to be a block or a charge. Here we go. 1 point game, 9 minutes to go. Here comes D'Lo. Looks like they're about to try to run a. Oh, Connect lets it rip off the mark. Isaac clears. I thought he was going to throw that away for a second. That looked like it was a line drive right out of bounds.
I mean, they need to get something going to the basket. Everything can't be a three.
Like, oh. LeBron laces one from like 30 feet out. All right. Lakers back up 2. Oh, I thought Anthony Black was going to lose it there. Good. High off the glass. Good take. 98-98. We're 8 minutes to go. Here comes Connect's going to let that. Nope, never mind. Passes it over to D'Lo. What's the play here? Okay, we're making just LeBron. Okay. LeBron just. There we go. Good hit. Little defensive breakdown right there. All the credit in the world to the progress of LeBron James' three-point shot. It's become a legit weapon on LA.
And he's been doing it consistently over the last couple of seasons at a really high level. What I don't understand is in your scouting report, you have to know with LeBron, even though there's a threat of the drive, you have got to get over the top of that screen and stay connected to him. Once like I said, that is on Jonathan Isaac. As soon as he switch, he's got to come out there. Even if he blows by you, there's a chance that he gets a 2. But if you give him that 3 like that, where he can just step into it, he's shooting it at such a high level.
No, exactly. And it's great second jump there by Anthony Davis. He fell for the fake, but he was so quick just getting back up into his second jump that it did not matter. Yeah, this isn't like first and LeBron. Oh, what do we call that? Delay fuck you 3? LeBron heat check. Oh, LeBron is finally apparently said, I'm tired of Orlando. Yeah, that's such a quick.
And he's just stepping into that with no hesitation.
Yeah, and it's not like this is like first in Cleveland LeBron. Like, this is legit. He's an elite 40% three-point shooter. Like,
right, 40 plus now.
That's crazy. Like, I'm not sure why Orlando is just not coming out to that. Like, I would rather, like, with LeBron, it's kind of a lose-lose. Like, I know you don't want to, like, push him towards the basket. But at this point, like, you'd almost think that you'd rather take your chance with a shot blocker at the basket than...
Right. I would rather take my chances where it's more convoluted, where there's more bodies, than just conceding a 3, knowing how he's shooting it right now. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, LeBron's still a hell of an athlete, but obviously this isn't peak athletic LeBron. You think you have a much better chance at, getting a stop with more bodies in there, but I digress. Hey, it works out for your Lakers, right? Well, keep leaving that man open.
I'm staying, yeah. If I'm them, I'll run another man at him. He'll pass because he's always going to make the right pass. I'd rather have someone other than him shooting a 3.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Magic are 35% from 3 for the game. Who's killing? Oh, Franz. Funny, like Jalen Suggs is at 41% for the game from 3. It's Franz is at 20.
Franz is not a good and that's the crazy part. He's not a good 3-point shooter. He never has been. You got to know the strength of your game. The strength of his game is 18 feet in. He's actually better at attacking the basket than shooting jump shots.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and that's why I think he struggled so much too in the playoffs when the game really slows down and they try to tell him, Franz, we need you to go spot up. He can, but he's not the most comfortable just standing in a corner. Oh my goodness! At least you know what? I'm happy. This has been an entertaining game all the way until the end. It looks like.
Oh, I mean, you know what? Just when you think they're getting separation, Anthony Black hits a 3 or something like that. So I'm optimistic. I hope that they continue on this pace because this young Magic team will not quit. If they're going to keep leaving LeBron open for 3, a couple of more of those, and we got it iced.
No, absolutely.
Like even Jalen Suggs, he did a weak contest. You got to do a stronger contest than that.
Oh, Goga. I thought he was gonna let that rip again. I'm sorry. I think if you're Orlando, you got to upgrade this backup center spot too. I think you got to get somebody in there with at least a little more mobility.
Better rim protection. Goga's he's too slow-footed.
Yeah, like he's probably a fine locker room presence, but if I'm a team that actually has playoff aspirations, I definitely wouldn't want him to, be getting actual minutes, even in case of injury.
A guy that would be a perfect fit for Orlando at the 5 would be Nicholas Claxton.
What a take. LeBron has taken over this game now. That's a foul, yeah. Connect got him. I feel like nothing about this Magic team is fast.
No.
Like, Mo Wagner has a slow pump fake. Franz Wagner just has a slow shot. Like, yeah, Brian, you can look up at the scoreboard or at the replay all you want. He got him on the arm. Yeah, no. But I will say credit to Franz showing he's up to the task of at least keeping the Magic, helping at least keep them afloat for a while, and they've even gone on a winning streak without Paulo.
They have. Is there an update on when he's supposed to be back, or is it supposed to be after Christmas? Or
I'm not sure, honestly. Hey, Cam Reddish with 8 rebounds. Good job, Reddish.
Somebody's going to point that out to him in the post game. You had 8 rebounds, man. Let me ask you. Here we are giving me a 5-point game. If he makes a second of this, do you think there will be another big move made in this NBA season? Any kind of trade, or do you think teams are going to stand pat?
So that's tough. I feel like there won't be another big move. I don't think there's really any big moves left to be made. It feels like, right? Like we already got, Paul George and everybody, Paul George moved.
Whatever that was, yeah. Sure.
Franz. Franz laces one, so we're back to a 2-point game.
I told you. Come on, man. The problem with the Lakers that annoy me is they start celebrating like the game's over a lot of times, and the other team, nobody told the other team the game ain't over.
Yeah, no, it looks like, Connect just kind of lost focus there for a minute, allowing Franz to get to the 3-point line. I know he's struggling this game, but you can't just leave Franz wide open like that. Yeah, I don't think that I don't think there will be any more like big moves. I think there'll be some probably fun like marginal moves. I love this about Franz. So Franz Wagner this year is shooting his absolute worst from 3 when he's wide open.
When he's wide open? Okay.
Yeah. He's shooting 28.9% on wide open threes. But he's shooting 39.5% on open threes and 40% on tight threes.
So he needs to be contested.
Yep.
Gotcha.
He's got to have somebody near him in order to knock it down. So that's probably why that Connect one just went down, because Connect actually went out to contest it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think there'll be some fun rotational pieces moving around. I heard teams are looking into Robert Williams.
Yeah, I can see where he has value, no question. But I'm thinking about teams like, here's a good example. Brandon Ingram didn't get an extension. If you're the Pelicans, you're going to risk him getting to free agency outright.
Oh, I straight up forgot about Brandon Ingram. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's risky. That's risky.
I'll say, yeah, then AD laces one. Good hit. 5-point game. Yeah, if there's two moves to be made, it's probably Brandon Ingram, and if things start falling off the wagon, I could very well see Jonathan Kuminga getting moved too.
Another guy who did not get his extension. And I don't care how feel good the Warriors have been this year. At the end of the day, when the season comes to an end, Jonathan Kuminga and his agent are going to be like, "So you let us get the free agency, okay?" That's dangerous.
Yeah, so when it comes to big moves, I think that's about as big as we're gonna get. But that'd be fun seeing where Brandon Ingram goes. I'm trying to convince my friends or the guys from Hoops Temple or Kings fans to trade the Bucks Keon Ellis.
You want that defense?
I do. Although granted, they don't want what I'm offering.
You're gonna say Pat Connaughton.
I'll message them they'll be like, "Oh, Keon didn't play." I'll be like, "I have a championship wing ready for you," and they're like, "We don't want Pat Connaughton." I'm like, "Oh."
I don't think it's a secret that everybody knows you're ready to move on.
Good hit by Franz. Either that or I'll be like, "Well, I mean, I got a championship big," and they'll be like, "We don't want Bobby Portis either." I'm like,
that championship pedigree used to work really well against some teams.
I know. I was hoping it'd work again.
OKC did that. They could have re-signed James Harden, but they didn't. They wanted to trade and go get Kendrick Perkins because he had championship pedigree.
The championship pedigree in Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah. Sam Presti has made a lot of really smart moves over the years. I would say that little 2-year period there was probably the worst moves he made throughout his career as a GM.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It almost feels like what he's doing now is making up for that. Because he was so good at building that first iteration of the Thunder through the draft.
Right.
But any trades or free agency, he was just awful at. So now he's definitely learned. He's definitely been much better. Oh.
Wow, he smoked 2.
Oh my gosh. Franz, buddy, you can't be mad. Franz throws his arms up like he didn't just completely shoulder tackle Austin Reeves twice.
Right, and extend the arm like he did everything wrong.
Oh, I love it when NBA players do that, when they're like, "I didn't commit that foul." Like, dude, I just watched you. Oh, timeout? Oh, use it or lose a timeout. Okay. Oh my gosh, that is.
I mean, he clearly dipped the shoulder and then extended the arm. Wow.
he shouldered him, lost the ball, got it back, then just extended the arm and shouldered him again, and then it's like, I didn't do it, guys.
Oh, speaking of which, another guy that did not get an extension, who I think would be a great 6-man in terms of getting buckets coming off the bench, Anthony Simons of Portland.
Ooh,
Simons is nice. If you're looking for instant offense off the bench, because I think that's his natural role, Anthony Simons would be a great pickup for anybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with that.
I do think that I like the Cunningham or the McCain kid in Philly. I don't want to leap ahead and call him a star. I'll say that he's proven that he's NBA tough and NBA ready. And maybe at some point he and Maxey will be a really good backcourt. It'll be interesting.
I'll give all the credit in the world to McCain. He's been consistent. Philly.
By the way, McCain is very much like Dalton Dalton Connect. Nobody has to tell him to shoot.
Yeah, and if there's one thing this right now, it's consistency, and he's the only one really giving it to him.
You know what I like on the Sixers for some reason? The guy just plays hard, and when you look up in the box score, he's always very productive. Yabusele.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's undersized playing the 5, but he's a really good basketball player.
yeah, a lot of people just know him as the guy who postered Bron in the Olympics, but no,
Right.
he's a really good player.
He is. He's a really good basketball player. Look at this. This guy got an and one. Yeah. Unreal. That's what you get when you play around and you let a team hang around. When Austin Reeves misses 2 free throws in a row, like just insane.
Yeah, no.
This is going down to the wire.
Oh, Bron again, though. Oh, that's a foul. I will give Goga credit. He does have 14 rebounds.
I think he's a good player, but I think he's one of those players that when you put him in the game, he can hurt you defensively.
No, absolutely. I think he's very flawed. And if you have to rely on him in an actual rotation, like in the playoffs, it's not great. Oh, speaking of which, Austin Reeves, holy arc. And the Magic take the lead, 113 to 112.
How do you not design something for Anthony Davis on the post? That's like it's a done deal. If he's either scoring or he's getting fouled.
I didn't like the shot selection there by Reeves.
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me.
I think the 3-pointer's fine, but I think you at least got to fake a drive and get him off balance. He just straight up tried to shoot over Goga, which
I just thought that reminded me of something that Jalen Suggs has been doing. You're just forcing up shots. It wasn't like you were up against the shot clock. I didn't get that.
80, you gotta make a move here.
80 should catch him. He needs to catch the ball in the post.
There we go. Bron from the other side to put him back up 1. We have ourselves a nice game down. Oh God! I really thought Suggs was gonna let it rip. I'm just like, please don't. There we go. See, that's a good look for Suggs. That's off, but it's a good look. Good board by Bron. Oh no! Oh, he got it. Okay. Great throw. Great pass by Bron. That might look like an easy pass, but you need to put that one perfectly where Suggs can't get it. And Bron put that beautifully.
That is a hell of a pass.
LeBron, I'm sorry for thinking that you would finally drop out of top 10 player range before the season started. This is my official LeBron apology.
He's clearly still playing at a top 10 level, easily.
I didn't even think he'd fall out that far. I think I had him at 12. But I thought it would finally be the year where some people pass him up, and Bron's just no. Yeah, wow, what a dime. Jalen Suggs is a ball hawk. He got to throw that just perfectly to get it over him.
Right. Yeah, that was Jalen Suggs, the cornerback, you know what I mean, covering Anthony Davis, the big wideout.
Yeah, it's funny. That almost looked like when you see a quarterback throw a perfectly placed ball against the defenders playing great defense.
That's exactly what that looked like. That's over the shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Suggs played that as well as you can, except when you're trying to guard Megatron out there with the height advantage as a cornerback, there's not much you can do with that one.
Right.
I said, here we go. 1:17. Lakers clinging to a 3-point lead. Oh.
Let's see if Franz Wagner can keep the Magic in it, because Franz Wagner's been taking over in this fourth quarter.
Here's the key with the Magic. Don't feel like you have to shoot a 3 here.
You don't. Not with this much time left. I would actually look to get something going to the basket if it's with the right person.
If you're the Lakers, don't do that. Don't. Okay, draw a foul, get some free throws, put some points on the board without the clock moving.
That was a terrible foul. It's your guy again, Max Christie. He's killing me.
What? Oh my gosh! No way. He showed some flashes this game. I'll give him credit. He showed some good flashes with some timely cuts.
I need him to flash back to the bench. What's the hell?
But yeah, like that. Like you can't just check him like that,
dude. And you gotta know who you're guarding. It's Jalen Suggs. If he's attacking off the dribble, he's gonna attack off his right hand. Jump on his right hand and make him go the other way. I don't understand it.
Well, at least
and you're almost 2.5, 3 inches taller than him. Make him shoot over you.
Careful, Bron. Just be careful. Oh, there we go.
Suggs is trying to foul.
That was terrible. I'm sorry, Goga. That was terrible. What is the one thing you can't do right there? Allow him to go baseline.
Right.
Force him back into the help, but you didn't do that. You just faked into oblivion. See, I was saying, well, be careful, LeBron, because I thought he was going to be forced to drive into the teeth of the defense, and Jonathan Isaac waiting help side. I'm like, oh, just don't get ripped. Are they reviewing this for a flagrant?
I don't even know how much of a foul that was, and I'm a Laker fan. I'll take it though.
Right? Like
I'll take it. If they show it again, I don't even know that he got hit. I think Suggs ripped it clean. I challenge that too.
I think he embellished that a little bit.
Yeah, I would challenge that too. You have nothing to lose at this point. The game's on the line right now anyway.
Yeah, no. It's the Magic challenging it. Okay.
Yeah, the Magic Shake challenge. Look, I don't like when you watch it in slow motion. I think LeBron acting like he got hit, but who hit it? I don't see where he got hit at all.
Are they gonna overturn it? They should, but it probably won't happen.
I would be shocked if it got overturned in LA at this point in the game, but never say never. Maybe they'll say something like, "Oh, he got him. One of the Magic players got him with the body or something." I don't know.
Let's see.
I'm looking for the foul, though. I didn't see it.
You know what? I think they're calling it on Isaac, but the only contacts happened there, and LeBron is the one that initiated the contact.
Yeah. Watch this drive. They said he got him with the body. All right, I got you. But even though LeBron went into Isaac, he went into Isaac. But okay, I'm not hating. I'll take these free throws.
All right, here we go, Bron.
Yeah, don't go 5 from 9 from 3, but not make your free throws. Make these free throws, buddy.
At least, you know what, Bron? At least got to make 1 or 2.
Why'd they change their score? You know what I mean? What the hell did they do to change their score? I must have missed a play.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, no. All right, man. Make this one then. We're good. All right. Still a 3-point game, but you could have been in a 2-possession game. So now they're 3 away from tying. They don't have to shoot a 3 now with 39 seconds left. Just find a good shot. I think Franz is going to force something, but they don't have to. Yeah, he took a wild shot.
Yeah, holy cow! I mean,
that was a wild. I mean, that was a wild 3.
That was like a learning experience shot. That's pull Franz aside after the game, like, hey, we don't need that there, man. Great game, but we don't need that right there. Oh, what the?
Wow. But look, maybe it was a heat check. He had it. I would have rather him. I would rather Franz attack the basket because both teams are in the penalty. Although the Lakers seem to want to extend this game because they can't make free throws suddenly. So I don't know. Reed's missed 2. LeBron made one or 2, and now AD he needs to make this one to make it a two possession game.
Hey, here we go now. Okay, we got a timeout. All right, JJ, get your best free throw shooters in. JJ's looking in the rule book, wondering if he can sub himself in.
Right,
one of the all-time great free throw shooters.
Oh, that was too easy. That was way too easy.
Yeah, I get not really worrying about the 2 that much, but like that was a little too quick for my liking.
Right, I get the strategy. Like you don't worry about them getting a 2, but you can't just let them like blaze down this and get it that easy. Like, come on, man. I don't like that.
Well, here we go.
You know what, Brett? This watch along, I guess now we know what it feels like to be like on the inside the NBA crew. when Chuck and them are complaining about how late it is and stuff like this. But this has been a good game, so I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. We picked a really good game.
We did. I'm good. Look, what's our next watch along date? Do you have one in mind already?
I'm not sure yet. Let's see. See, the challenge with a lot of these Thursday games is they always seem to be a lot of them are at like 7.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. Looks like AD is going to go to the line for 2.
Once again, we're going down here to the final seconds. Stu set it up for us.
Honestly, the next date I was thinking about eyeing up. It's there's 2 of them that are happening. That on December 19th. It's another Thursday. But this time, there's 2 games going on. We could either do a watch along to Knicks Timberwolves. That's the 8:30 TNT game.
Okay.
Or Lakers Kings, which starts a half hour later at 9.
Ooh, I am going to say I think Lakers Kings would be more interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm down for Lakers Kings.
You see, look, the Kings don't play a whole lot of defense, but they play a whole lot of offense, so that'll be fun.
Oh my gosh!
What's with the free throw shooting?
No! What
is a fix in it? Oh my God! These guys, all these missed free throws. Like the game should have been over. The fact that we're not making free throws, we're literally keeping them in the game. If we lose, AD clanged him. Orlando actually has a shot to win the game. Insane. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, what a shot by Wagner. Wagner, 2.5 to go.
God. What? Did you and I not have this conversation? Did you not point out to me that Franz Wagner, when he shoots contested three, he's a monster.
He's shooting 40%, like 40% on contested threes this year.
Is a monster. And look, I give the Magic all the credit. They've taken the lead. You cannot miss 6 free throws down the stretch.
Oh my god! Yeah,
You can't do that. Reeves missed 2. LeBron split a pair. AD split a pair. Then he just missed 2 more.
oh my gosh, this is one of the worst. Oh,
This is the worst. What is this? This is the anti way you close a game out.
oh my goodness, 37-11, Franz. Great job. I
All
love
right.
it.
I know there's people joining on this watch along, and I don't want to sound like a rowdy, angry Laker fan. I'm not that dude. I'm upset that we might lose this game. But it's been a great game. So we appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to us and joining us on this watch along. But oh my God.
Are you kidding?
I think
That-
I'm gonna be up another hour late.
That
That was the play you drew up?
attack the best defender on the court?
I didn't understand that at all.
That was
Yes.
there's like nothing to understand. That was just fucking terrible. I'm sorry, but
The last 2 minutes of that game, those Lakers, my goodness.
oh my gosh. Great win by the Orlando Magic.
Give the Magic all the credit. They hung in there, and they made the plays and the shots they had to make late. Look, the Magic won the game. They deserve to win the game, period. I'm not making any excuses.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What a dagger from Wagner. Wow.
Now, I'll be very honest for everybody out there that's been joining us. Because of such a loss, I'll be up for another hour, but that's just me. And I'll get over it. I will. I'll eventually get over it, but
Hey,
whew.
I've been there. I was there for remember that Bucks vs. Heat playoff series
Oh,
when
wow.
when Jimmy sent that game to overtime. I was pretty much up all night. But
Yeah.
that was the watch along for you guys. Had a blast. Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you're a first time
did.
viewer, please continue to check us out on Thursdays. Do you want anything you want to add in, Mo?
No, just appreciate everybody for joining us. And see you guys next Thursday, 9 p.m. and one podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you everybody and take care.
Thank you for tuning in to the And One podcast. If you like our content, you can find more on the Wire to Wire Podcast Network on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. Want more And One? Find it on Wire to Wire. Like and share our Facebook page and join the And One Discord. Grab the link to join from our Facebook. Thank you for tuning in and have a wonderful day.